look on hood, but nothing else too crazy, man. Nothing really.
That's the look under the hood on hood.
Nice.
There you go.
I like that one.
It's actually already 11 o'clock, and I'm glad we said this morning that if you're going to have a bit of a high volatility chop, in this case it's not huge volatility, but if you're going to get a chop fest, retrace highs and lows, then find areas where you can get in, get out, short pops on weak stocks and get out at the bottom, buy dips on something like Palantir and churn it back and forth. Just find the strong stocks and go long off support, find the weak stocks and just go short with trend or on resistance. That's working so far this morning without getting clean breakout, but that could still happen. So if we do break out these tops, hopefully NVIDIA can go. Looking at that Micron, Apple's at 215, lots of things happening. But it's time for you guys to go to Sharif and Adara, learn to trade. Go get them.
Yes, yes, yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as that midday show. That in the lovely green, and it's a greenish day, is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the chat. We already have the OG Adrian and Benson. Shout out to TH. Adara's in the chat. Oh, my goodness. Palm Beach Peter, good morning to you as well, my man. And obviously, good morning to Bears versus Bulls. You are that world's greatest moderator. It is not you, Jason Calcanis, you flip-flopper. Mad Love, yo, what's up? Easy Trader, Day Trader, Cut the Piper joining us as well as Mason Moore, excuse me. Hey, Davis, Alaric B, a proper paradox as opposed to an improper one. Matthew Booth, Vic Jan Novak, we got Ronaldo. Good morning, Dan, the dang man, Emmons. We got Mix Master JT. We got Benton, Lionel Martinez, Cesar Sandoval. We got Racer X9, as well as the Pawns, the Fawns. We got Willie Tantum. I was going to read that as Tantrum, but I was probably not right. We got Just Some Dude. Marion B. Dude Rocks. We got the Gatekeeper. He is keeping the gates, Adara. Medical Mariana. I was going to read that as Medical
Ooh, that's
Marijuana.
funny.
That was a little bit there. Fugazi, bro. You like that, Hope? We got Derek B. Medical Mariana. Yeah. Big Smile and Spile Burdette. Shout out to him. Always doing the absolute most. Jose Gonzalez, Ola, and 1320 Wolf. Good morning, Adair.
Good morning to everybody here, and good morning to you, Sharif. How are you doing on this fine little Friday?
I'm very pleased. It's Friday, Adair. Got lots of plans for the weekend. I'm not pleased that it's 5,089% humidity and
rain.
And rain. So, you know, that's what we got to deal with in Toronto, but that's the way it is. You're looking at some stuff. You have some ideas. What are you thinking about right now?
Yeah, I'm going to be talking here about Eli Lilly, which, as Neil said, he's like, I feel like Adair's going to trade some Lilly. I had a lot of levels on Lilly, and actually, funnily enough, they all hit on the way up, which made me pretty pleased as punch with my calls on this. So we did have, it's gonna be kind of hard to see. I like that 867. That was one of my levels yesterday. We kind of wicked into this. Where was this candle? Oh, yeah, okay. My view was kind of covering. We wick into this on the way up as a little bit of support. Then we bounce. I'm like, okay, so that level was right, but it's gone now. Then we have a bit of a stagnation here around that 880s area, which was a level Neil mentioned. It's a level I liked from yesterday. It was also in the weekly chart. Then we push higher. Now, I watched this at the 900. When we first tried to break back below the 900, I wasn't looking at Lilly as a short, but I was like, that 900 area, if we break back down, could be interesting. We tried to break back down in the bid, then we bounced violently. You know, like Obi was talking about lethargic tape. The tape on Lilly was not lethargic. It was the awakest. I've never seen a book or a tape more awake than what I was seeing on Lilly, with like 900 on the bid, 905 on the ask. That thing popped right back up. And then I come back and I sit down here and I'm like, hey, like I said to Sharif, I was like, if this thing, like now we're at that point, we were below 900 on the bid. I said, if I come back, we're below on both sides. I would be very interested to take this short. And Sharif's like, yeah, like wait for your levels, all good. I come back for my coffee and my tea, and then we're already back at 905. So I'm going to be watching this. I will not be interested. As I said to Sharif, unless we really see like a distinctive change in the tides here, I'm not going long. I'm going to be interested in Lilly. I might go long later, but I'll be watching Lilly for that 900 break, and that's it. Disney kind of back to those levels I liked yesterday. Thereabouts that 84, high 84s, like 85, area, it would be more of a range, so I have to wait for my entry on that. Palantir, I liked that 29.25, long gone. Shout out to Neil and Obi, though, for those Palantir trades. But right now, mostly, I will be seeing if the Palantir, if the crystal ball would like me to get in some Lily, because I will only be getting in on my levels. What are you looking at? I know one stock you were having a little bit of a moment with, you were talking to beforehand.
Yes, and you reminded me that I did have a moment with this stock a few days ago, but my short-term memory didn't remember that. Anyway, got into Rivian. Rivian, very strong yesterday. Was an excellent day for EVs in general. Giving back some today, though, down 3%. It weaseled its way into $14. Generally held 14, that 14.05 level. It worked its way back into VWAP, and I'm like, all right, this is an this is a hockey stick kind of pattern, forming a hook pattern, the umbrella pattern, as Adair likes to call it, because it was awfully weak, and then it found a bit of a bounce. So my question to myself was, where does it reject? It's awfully weak on the day, and then it worked its way up into that white line. If you've been watching the show for a little bit, you know the white lines on my chart are the volume weighted average price. So I got short there, and then I'm like, all right, what's the deal? Is this gonna come back into 14.05, or is there a previous area of, formerly resistance, now support, that would prevent us from going down further? And this was the consolidation level that I saw, so I wet my beak right there. I'm very happy with this trade. Literally got top and bottom wick on both the entry and the exit. We'll look to either go long on Rivian if it clears VWAP on a closing decisive basis, or if it keeps rejecting off it, I'll keep shorting it there. I don't care either way. So keeping my eye on that. I've got plenty of small cap gappers and the like to talk about, but we'll get to those right after the lesson. Today is going to be a soft lesson, guys. It's Friday. We all want to chill, so we're going to be talking about earnings, and we're going to present to you some sort of trading strategies that you can try to employ. We're really going to give you the rudimentary explanation for these strategies. It's incumbent upon you to take them, delve deeper into them, and kind of customize them to fit your trading strategy. So let's go. We're talking about real-time trading strategies for earnings plays. We started this week on earnings. We're going to continue into next week. Let's talk about scalping. Right? So I giggle from you so funny. Scalping involves taking small profits on rapid price fluctuation. Sounds easy, right? Everybody can do it. So let's talk about the strategy. The strategy is essentially here for the earnings plays. We're not talking about scalping in general. We're talking about scalping using or for earnings plays. So you're going to identify stocks with high trading volume and volatility before earnings. And then essentially here, what you're going to do is you're going to try to employ level 2 in time of sale. So you're going to observe the order flow exactly how Adara was just explaining to do on Lily, about order speed, anemic movement on the book, on the tape. You're looking here for observe order flow imbalances. You're looking for a large imbalances of a buy or a sell orders continuously, which can indicate to you potential or good potential price movement. And then you want to weasel your way on over to the time and sales and analyze the speed and the size of the trade. I gave you a little bit of an insight into this yesterday. There's a lot of traders on the floor, Obi included. What they do is they load up multiple time and sales, and they'll filter the time and sales based on share size. Your platform may or may not allow you to do that. You got to figure that out. The point of doing that is to see the big boy orders that are coming through. Well, why do you want to see the big boy orders that are coming through? Because it can be deceptive on the level 2, vis-a-vis the icebergs. I can hide the size of my order, which may not be reflected visually on the level 2 time and sales, but it will come out on, the level 2 book, but it will come out on the time and sales. You can't hide it from there. That's going to be every order that ever comes through. So if you want to see the big boy orders coming through and filter out the noise with the smaller orders, see if your platform allows you to filter by share size, okay? Then you want to employ some TA. All we do is talk about TA on this desk, technical analysis. You want to use indicators like moving averages, especially the faster ones here. I'm talking about the 8, the 9, the 10, and then another one, obviously, the 20. We saw Michael Noss today talk about his little new indicator there between the 8 and the 20 and the cloud that it makes. So you need some sort of short-term moving averages to show you which way the winds are pointing. And then your entry, you're going to enter trades in the direction, obviously, of the trend, unless you're trying to scalp off a key area of technical resistance. And then you want to employ tighter stops here if you're scalping, and predetermined profit targets to manage your risk and wet your beak when you can. You should also be employing good risk management skills here if that risk management requires you to take smaller position size because of your experience or your account size, then that has to be part of the plan as well, okay? So that's just scalping in a nutshell. Obviously, we're not going to go into it much further than that. Let's talk about gap analysis too, because we talked about gaps for a while. Let's talk about some of these possible earnings plays we can do prior to the gap. So breakaway gaps, who remember those? So a gap up or down that occurs at a new high or new low often indicates to you a strong trend continuation. You can consider here going against the trend and fading the gap if it's excessively large. The determination of what is excessively large is going to be based upon the gaps that that particular instrument has made in the past. So it's incumbent upon you to go back and do the charting to see what qualifies as excessively large. Exhaustion gaps, though, these are a bit more, I don't want to say clear cut, but usually they get filled subsequent to earnings so that you're pretty sure if they're at the end of the trend or not. Essentially what an exhaustion gap is, it's a gap that occurs at the end of a strong trend, often followed by a reversal either to the up or the downside, depending on which direction the original trend was. This might be a good entry point in the opposite direction of the gap. So when you have an exhaustion gap, we talked about in the gap week, we had two types of exhaustion gaps, right? We had ones that gap up and then are filled immediately, and then ones that gap down and basically end the trend. So it's incumbent upon you to apprise yourself of those as well. Common gaps, I would personally suggest you don't trade these because they typically happen within a consolidation range and they can be quite bamboozling. However, there is a strategy employed to trade these common gaps because why? They often get filled and filled quite soon. So if you see that common gap, you can place stops above it to kind of prevent the price action from going against you. But I personally would stay away from common gaps just because I'm a trend trader, that's all. But that doesn't mean they're not tradable. Technical indicators as well for trading these gaps. You're looking for high volume on the gap day that can confirm the strength of the move. And you can employ moving averages here, as I always talk about. A fast moving average crossing a slower one, like for example, the 10 crossing the 20 to the upside or the downside in the direction of the gap can reinforce the trend. So make sure you're employing those moving averages. And how do you execute these gap trades? Well, if it's a gap up, if the gap up, is an exhaustion gap, you can consider buying the gap fill level or slightly below. For breakaway gaps, you can consider shorting, possibly here with a tight stop above the gap. If it's basically a very large gap, I personally wouldn't want to go against the trend, but that's just me. A gap down, in this case, if it's an exhaustion gap on the gap down, you can consider shorting the gap fill level or slightly above. And for breakaway gaps, you can consider buying with a tight stop loss below the gap. Again, not my style because it's against the trend. And you should be using tight stop loss orders to protect against rapid price reversals and potential gap fills. Now, price patterns. We can also look to trade some of these price patterns after earnings. So we talked about scalping, we talked about trading gaps. How about these price patterns? What do we do with these? So the strategy here is you're trying to identify price patterns that form immediately after earnings releases. So the first one, pattern recognition. You got to be able to ID some of these patterns, otherwise you can't trade them. You got to be ready to know what a bull flag looks like, what a bear flag looks like, what a bull pennant, what a bear pennant looks like. How about these triangles, ascending, descending, equidistant or equilateral triangles, You also got to be familiar with the double tops, the double bottoms, the head and shoulders, the inverse head and shoulders. You got to apprise yourself of the more well-known patterns if you're going to use this type of trading strategy, okay? Volume analysis, too, on trading these price patterns. Increased volume during pattern formation can strengthen the potential breakout or breakdown. Again, goes both ways here. And your execution, enter trades based on identified patterns and confirmed breakouts or breakdowns. And your risk management, you should be using stop loss orders to get out of trouble and make sure you're using those profit takers to wet your beak, Adair.
Yeah, one thing I like doing as well, and I've done a lot with some of these earnings plays, is like wetting your beak as you go, like adding, subtracting, so that way, even if it goes against you for part of it, you still have some of the profit secured. You've secured a portion of the bag, if not the entire bag. Lily had my 900 breakdown. I didn't take it because I was like, oh, but I want to retest. And Lily's like, oh, do you want me to go to 890s? And I was like, not when I'm not a part of this. And Lily was like, oh, I don't care. Breaks down to 890s. If we get that 900 retest, that's where I'm going to strike here, guys, because we have, to be fair, I know this looks really bullish, and that's why I'm going to be waiting here to see what we do, because the SPY kind of pushing higher. But even when we had Lily breaking down, the SPY was not really breaking down. It was still kind of stagnant. Speaking of the SPY, took a very brief, short-lived SPY scalp short. Not loving the execution on it just because I wanted like 532s, and then I ended up getting in, I think, like 531.88s, and then we got above 532s. I got out. It's like lost 12 pennies. Not the trade of anyone's lifetime, but Lily trying to hang out here around that 900 area. If I can't get like a clean 900, the other level I like on Lily for this potential trade here would be 897. Why? Look at all of this rejection. This rejection here around 897 as we try to break into 900. The only reason I'm also going to be cognizant of that level, though, is because we know support and resistance can flip. And we have these bottoming tail candles. So I would be really worried about getting short that 897, thinking it's going to reject again, and then we push even higher. I do not want that smoke. So right now I'm going to have to be patient. I want to shout out Sharif, because we were talking about this before, and he was just like, yeah, like if you see levels you like on it, take it. Took my levels, missed that first trade because I did want to wait there. Not going to be unhappy with the patience, but sometimes you've packed too much patience, right? And it's like you're only going like a 2-day trip. Why are you bringing, this giant patience Samsonite? So let's wait. Let's see what's going on here. I do want to look at a couple names for some people before. And, Lily, take your time to settle yourself out. I'll come back to you. But SMCI, I know Darius Golden was looking at SMCI. SMCE, as Sharif has christened it. I have a put at 497 for SMCI. I see that it will make a new low of day. Am I blind? I don't want to say, I don't think anybody's blind. I think there's some definite rejection here at 506 for SMCI. That would be my take on that. That being said, since we hit that low here of 495s, we have been making higher lows. So that I would be aware of here. On the daily chart, is this an area of any significance for us? We're going to have to zoom back way far, I think, too, for that. Oh, my daily chart's not working on this SMCI, unfortunately. Oh, there it is. Okay, thank you, SMCI. You're welcome, Darren. But let's see. We're going to have to go back pretty far here from before that whole rally. I'm going to have to take some time to look at the SMCI daily chart here. Okay, yeah, so last time we were at this level, kind of around here, okay. I'm going to have to be honest with you. Darius, I'm actually seeing a little bit of support in the daily at 482, because look at how we slammed into this level. Now we're trying to grind higher here since that earnings drop, and look at the kind of support resistance flip we had back here. If we're going back to, what is this, like mid-January 2024. So I think this could be maybe a potential support area. If we keep rejecting 506, I think that would be a good look. If we break above that 506, though, I think things could get a little bit dicey for SPCE. As along. We also had, I think, Javier asking about Upstart UPST. So we'll take a look at Upstart for you and see how that's going there. U to the P to the S to the okay. I mean, up. If it's up, then it's up, then it's up, then it's up. If it's Upstart, then it's up, then it's. But yeah, so great pop here above that 3460 level. Bit of pre-market resistance. We come back here, double bottom at 33. Whole dollar level double bottom too, might I add. High, we take a little bit of moment to rest here, bounce off the 90 MA. Green candles, like Upstart, doesn't look like it wants to upstop. I'm going to be honest, it's always a little bit harder for me to analyze these kind of charts just because they're so strong. I would say if you keep kind of seeing these pushes higher, that's definitely a good look. The one kind of bearish candle it looks like you could be making on the 5 here, around 11 with that little wick up here, the topping tail candle, clearly did not manifest because we are a cool, honestly, like more than $1 up from that point. So Upstart looks like it just wants to keep starting up. Lily, okay, I'm watching you at 997s. I would risk it into just below 900s. I want to see what Lily does because it keeks breaking back lower. So I have eyes on my girl LLY. But if you have any stocks you have eyes on, go in that chat, exclamation point, join, space, $sign. Whatever ticker you're looking for, that's my take on this. How are you doing over here?
I'm good. I'm looking here at the small cap gappers. There's a whole bunch to talk about. Adair already mentioned Upstart, so I'm going to leave that one there. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, and it's absolutely going. Great day for UPSD. Still have no idea what they do. Don't care. The other one here, HUGE, you saw what Neil was saying about this one. It's been locked at that 24, 25 penny area for a hot minute. I've been looking at this one. It is not on my scanner. I did not have eyes on this one because it is sub 85 pennies. I do filter my scanner with 85 pennies. I'm all eyes, ears, and everything else at 22 pennies. That's where the volume weighted average price is. We also have a local area top at around 21 pennies. That takes us around to the pre-market. That pre-market high around 855.9 was around 21 pennies. HUGE is up. I could say it's up huge, but that would be, you know, a little bit right there. EXFY, another one that's doing well right now. This one is up 39.5%, 40%ish, up to 2.25. Still holding the 10 moving average, as you can see there, but looking to give some back at the moment over here. So we shall keep eyes on that. Just 1 second. Let me just set this up. Fabian, are we ready for the read? Oh, yeah, I'm ready to go. Okay. Are you tired of being late to the trade? Are you always playing catch up in the market? Are you missing out on the big moves because you're too slow to that news? If so, that Benzinga Pro is your unfair advantage. Get breaking news alerts up to 30 minutes before everyone else and pinpoint exactly why stocks are moving and join a thriving community of traders who share their strategies in real time. Are you ready to see how Benzinga Pro can transform your trading? If you are, visit benzinga.com/pro and get yourself that free 14-day trial. Obviously, I'm not logged in here, but you can kind of get the idea of all the different features you get over there right by looking on the left corner. They've got just so much, it's ridiculous. And I want to shout out their customer service because I used to use them, and whenever I had questions, they were always ready to help me out. So shout out to Benzinga Pro. Huge, trying to bounce here off that 25 penny area, getting a nice little bid, bouncing off 24.25, looks like it got into that 20 exponential on the 5 and catching a bid now. Look out for new highs because we still have lower highs there. Rivian rejecting multiple times now, 4 times on my 5-minute chart at the volume weighted average price. It's not really doing anything. It's kind of sideways, so it's going to be a scalp. I know, I'm kidding. It's Rivian, I know. 1430 or high 20s thereabouts. That's where the volume weighted average price is. 1, 2, 3, 4 candles have all rejected that area, but they keep bouncing off 15s. 15s, bit of a consolidation area, top hockey stick pattern right now, possibly on RIVN. LUMN has awoken. It is also on the way up, gone green on the day, broke through that 5 1/3, knocking on the door of 560, 585. The high, breaking through that local area top that we put in at 10 this morning at 5 3/4, breaking that by about 10 pennies there. Still very much an inside day on LUMN. We're ensconced with the previous day's highs and the lows. Still very much, yeah, an inside day. So I'll be looking possibly here into that 620. 620. If LUMN can clear 6, I'll be looking into 620 possibly here. Let's put an alert here on Lumen for an approach into 6 so we can have advanced notice of that. So that's a good look there. EXFY I mentioned. MGOL is selling off. I mean, it was up yesterday for no reason. Today, still no reason, right? You didn't see anything on MGOL, right?
I did not, no.
Neither did I. So, yeah, this one rejecting 6 today. Was able to weasel its way up to almost 6 1/4, but it's been a sell. That pop kind of day. Now we're down into 4 3/4, so really giving up about $1.50 on a $5 name so far. HUG looks like it's headed to the upside again, Adair.
Yeah, I'm still looking at Lily. And honestly, the more I look at this, the more I'm like, I probably missed my shot at this. If we get back to the 890, okay, yeah, now we're breaking way down, so I'm gonna let Lily breathe. I wanted 897s. I wanted to be like, Adair, like don't get 896.50. No, that's not enough. You're gonna have to risk so much. Wait till 897. Did not happen. It's all good there, baby. I don't want to chase this. Like I said, like I was okay with 897s as an entry point if I couldn't get 900s because that was an area earlier and we did take our time to break below it. Come back, retest maybe, but I don't want to force it. I forget who this was in the chat. Please let me know who you were. But someone mentioned they've been scalping AMD and they've been having some fun with that. And I pulled up the AMD chart. This is what I trade on occasion. It used to be a permanent member of the side chart crew, but then since earnings, I've kind of had to boot it out in favors of others. This is one of my favorites, like looks on a chart, and it's also AMD, and it's like a fast scalp one. Look at these higher lows. Look at this flat top at 140, 134.20, and look at how we're bouncing off VWAP. My only thing is I don't know where I would risk for this because even though there is a lot of confluence on the chart for AMD, I am always the type of person that I'm more likely to be trading this to not want to give this risk on the chart, because like I said, I feel like when I give it like certain levels instead of just getting in or out for scalps based on what I'm seeing on the chart, that's where things go awry. We just talked about, making sure you plan your profit levels, and I feel like my profit levels are always going to be more book based on the chart, more book based when I'm scalping. So English, but yeah, right now I like that we're staying here above 80s with higher lows. I'm going to get involved here at 91s. If I don't know if we're going to get, we'll do 91s. We're definitely not going to get 91s now. Let's try 93s. I want to get involved here. If we get back below 80s, I'll get out, risking like 13 pennies. I think if we get to the top of this range, we can make at least like almost 30 here. So I'm definitely okay with the RR on that. I don't know if we'll get filled, but let's see if AMD can give me some fun there. CMG, says Gaurav. CMG in a good uptrend today, breaking past its resistance on the hourly. Volume also higher than yesterday, waiting for a retracement to VWAP to go long. Oh, I don't mind this. I do not mind this look here on CMG on the 5-minute. Lots of bottoming tail candles. We pop up here violently, this 55.60, all the way to 56.10. Topping tail candle, but not to be too afraid. Then we get 2 bottoming tail candles. However, both those candles are red. We're bouncing off the 90 MA though, which I don't mind. And this 55.90, we're kind of around this level here. Looks like we could get another bearish candle. I would want to see us break back above 56, because it looks like right now this could be the decision point for CMG, decide if it wants to eat some of that guacamole. Lily, are you really back at 97s right after I get filled in AMD? Okay, well, AMD's breaking below 80s, it looks like here, so I'm going to have to probably get, bye AMD, and maybe Hello Lily. We'll see how, instead of Hello Dolly, the musical, it'll be Hello Lily for me over here. Happy I tried the AMD, because that look was good before we got that little bit of a move down in that their market. So, okay with that, I will be putting Mademoiselle back on that side chart, but showed it to Pimpy Long Stonking. 199 super chat mentioning the SMCI pop coming at 11:40 if history repeats. Yeah, I just looked at that one there for Darius Golden in the chat. I said I would see what we do at 506. So if maybe that pop at 506 could be some interesting confluence there. Lily, I think we're going short here. What are you doing?
I'm short Apple. We got into 215.50 and rejected a couple of times. I'm probably going to get stopped out. Really small try over here at this level. If we break 50, there was a seller at 50 the last time around we got there. So I said to myself, give it the old community college try. Yeah, but we're stopped out. So Apple just too strong on the day. I can't be looking to short this. It's so counter market right now. That's a mistake by me. There it goes, blowing through 60. So good strength there on Apple. I see what you guys are talking about though there. Everyone is yelling about Upstart. People, I saw somebody else just say something that I was looking at earlier too. Upstart and what? No, I missed it there. There was another one. Upstart is going. I see that one. It's really going there through 38. Just broke through that aggressively into that $0.25. The market's really on the way up here. So we hold that 18. 5.25, which is the closing print from yesterday. We've been kind of ranging at this level on the NQ September contract. It was this level over here that I was looking at. We've been bouncing off this level. This white line, that is yesterday's close, and we got up above there. Use it now as support. So I think that was a bit of a mistake for me to take Apple short there, but I did see it really kind of work into the $0.50. Keeping an eye on Upstart as it comes right back into 38 at the moment. Let's have a look at what it looks like on the 5-minute. Very extended on the 5-minute, if I could say so. And the reason I say it's extended is because it's so far away on the 5-minute from the 10 exponential. So the current price action that we just hit, 38.25, we're tanking. Well, we're not tanking. We're dropping now, 37.5. And look where the 10 exponential is, 36.5. So when we get extended like that, I look for some sort of mean reversion, but not jumping into that super quick yet. Huge did hold that 25-ish area and did work up into about 28. Not the biggest move, obviously, in the world. Let's move back into Apple, though. I want to see exactly how it ended up resolving. So right back into the $0.50 Apple goes here. So where are we doing on the future? Are we tanking or what's going on? Topping tail right now, but still above yesterday's closing print. So we're getting a bit of a topping tail on Apple. Do we give up at this level or what the deal is? I'm so unsure at this level. Let's see. Yeah, well, we're really printing up a storm to the downside now as the future does give up that level. So we'll see if we can participate in this down move here on the dead one possibly. We'll look for it to get something around maybe 9s or so. It was an aggressive move down on the future to give up that 18. 5.25. I was looking for a possible 18.5 touch. on the NQ September contract, because that would be a VWAP touch. And there we go. Oh, there's a buyer at 10. So I was waiting at 10, so it didn't get filled. So frustrating. Let's see if we can move back down again into that level. We're short 18s. No, so we're zigging and zagging at the moment over here. But we did drop now in negative territory now on the future. So let's see if we can weasel our way down a little bit more. 18,510. Still above the volume weighted average price, but we did reject that 18.5 3/4. So let's see if we can get a bit more weakness here to the downside, but the buying's coming in quite aggressively here. So maybe this topping tail doesn't mean a whole all that much there.
Yeah, so I wasn't able to get filled on Lily there. I wanted, literally I had 896.25s. We get to 896.24s. I was like, are you kidding me? It was not kidding me.
No.
I did not get filled. I was 1 cent away. Then I decided to get to this buy short below 531s, and literally, because we kept rejecting 531s, and then as that happened, guess what? We kind of had that move back up. This Sharif just talked about. We had, that was kind of anemic pop back up to 931 for me. I'm like, couple pennies out of the money right now on the SPY. I just realized I may have gotten short here at that previous level of support. So not super proud of that entry. Also, you know what I love, Sharif, is when you get involved in a name, and then the second you get involved, wicks you out, and then it pops right back to what you wanted. AMD gave me my flat top break. I wasn't there for it. All good though. I'm happy I didn't get back in as revenge, because that would not have held. But you know what is working right now, sort of, is this SPY short. Basically flattened it, but we're kind of wicking back down here into 70s. I would love to see what we can do here. If we can get down to like 40s, that would be kind of an interesting level for me on the chart a little bit. 20s as well. Anywhere as we kind of approach that VWAP, that's a good look. We have Lily kind of trying to get back to 896s. Okay, SPY getting back violently, so I'm going to have to get out of here. Currently, I've taken 3 trades today, red on all of them. I should have just been waiting for my big white whale trade, which is going to be that Lily breakdown. And that, honestly, no matter what the SPY does, Lily is still on its downward trend. So that's what I should be paying attention to. We get a bit of move up in the SPY, Lily's like, meh. We get a bit of move down in the SPY, Lily's like, meh. So I think stocks you have reads on, stocks you have levels on, you kind of owe yourself that kind of commitment. I'm going to stick with that. AMD, though, at this 134, AMD is kind of violent for my taste right now for how I would be trading it. So I'm going to be aware of it, but I don't think I'm going to get involved. Disney, if I want a nice little low volatility move, Disney, I was mentioning that maybe range on Disney, and Disney's like, oh, by range, do you mean like less than 10 cents? And I was like, are you Apple before the WWDC? Like, no, Disney. If Disney breaks above 85.20 and pushes above VWAP, that could be a nice long, but like I said, not interested in names that are not giving me exactly what I want. Sometimes with the market, you got to be a little bit picky. I was thinking recently about this quote from, if anyone knows Pricks being a wallflower, it's like, we accept the love we think we deserve. We accept the trades we think we deserve. I'm going to be taking trades that I think are, worthy of my time, worthy of my risk, worthy of my energy. Again, not like actively upset about the AMD. I had the right entry on that, got wicked out, whatever. But, just sticking with stuff you like. If you don't love it, if it's not the thing you're waiting for, why are you waiting? That's the type of conviction I want to be having going forward. And that kind of confidence. NASDAQ waiting around VWAP. Reason for the pop-up says Adam Deleuze. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, we've got NASDAQ kind of hovering here, so that's an interesting look. Eli Lilly rejecting 898s. Heck yeah, I'm going to be out. We're going to get involved here, Lily. Nice. It is short. That is for darn sure. Going to get my multi-time frame confirmation and then punch in. How you doing? I took long and short on Apple, and I was able to exact revenge both ways. I was able to talk about scalping here, but yeah, the moves are quite tight. So I took it long, I took it short, covered, took it long, wet my beak. I was profitable on both, but they're very small and kind of inconsequential trades, to be quite honest with you. So we'll look to reignite this trade if it does break above this key area of technical resistance. I'm not seeing the kind of direction. I think that the best entry off for Apple would have been just kind of my normal run-of-the-mill entry, which is a pullback into the 10 exponential on the 5, and I didn't do that for whatever reason because it gave it to you really nicely over here. There's the 10 exponential touch right at that 215 level, and yeah, 60 pennies. So stop trying to get creative with Apple, Sharif. Just trade how you would typically trade it off your moving averages in the direction of the trend. So Apple on the way up, new high day, 215.74. Good look there. I'm also keeping a close eye on Upstart because now we have 2 candles of indecision at this area over here. Let me load up UPSD on the side
because it's not updating. Where is my fintech? There it is. Okay, so 38.04. I'm not going to be quick to want to short anything around here, especially if it's not giving up the level at 38. But we have two very distinct candles from the previous candles that we had on this trend. So I'm very interested in it, but I don't have the right look quite yet. Rivian breaking down again, so I should have stayed into this one. This one rejected VWAP multiple times, as you can see on the white with the white line there. I was looking to see if it would pop off 15. Initially, 15s was an area of support. Now it looks like it's just on the way back down to 14.06, which is the low of the day again. Could possibly break that now, down 4 1/5, guys, on the day after having a good day yesterday. Look again here on Upstart, another candle. It just opened, but it's a candle of indecision, and this is a topping tail candle. If we make a lower high on this candle and then make another lower low through this, say 37.50, 37 2/3, this is an interesting short. I think this is a pay for short kind of situation. It was a few days ago when I did take this originally. Where's my Upstart? Let's find out if it's going to cost me money to pay for shorts. Let's go up all the way into the high. Yes, so it is. So I will have to get shorts for that one. But I remember last time it cost me like next to nothing. So shout out to the world's best prop trading firm, baby. Real Trading. All right, keeping an eye on my scanner here. I'm just looking up at the scanner to see that there's no new small cap gappers that are moving, but oh boy, huge is moving again. Shout out to the OB, the
Call
one.
and response time.
Yeah, I know, right? 31 pennies. This one defended 24-ish beautifully, and there it is. What, is that real? No, that can't be real. It is real. Okay, so we just topping tailed into a new high a day, 35 pennies. This is really squeezing now. Watch out, 255%. It's printed 690 million shares on the day. I realize that it is a 31, 32 penny name at the moment, but that's still big boy size. And that allows you to get in much, like it's very liquid. So you can get in and get out typically with very small spreads. Let's load up a huge on the chart and see exactly what the spread is like, Adara. There we go. Let's find out. Very, very tiny, as I did anticipate. Very tiny over here, but it is going, guys, up into 32. So it's broken that 30 penny high, Neil, and it's really on the way up now, 251%. I don't know what the short float is on huge, but I'll look in a second over here. Thank you, Neil. I appreciate that. Neil already hooked me up with the Upstart shorts. I'm telling you.
Upstart.
There it is. There it is. Yeah. I don't know how you do it day in, day out, Adara, but chapeau. Merci. Let's find out what huge is. All right. Huge only has a short float of 0.28%. So very much negligible there. So we're going to keep an eye on HUGE. But I do like this look on Upstart right now, guys. What is the sitch? Should I be going short here, or what the deal is? 10 1/4, 10 1/3 in the Greensville. Is this just a little consolidation area and then we move right back up and I get squeezed out, or what's the deal? Let me know what you think in the chat about what's happening with Upstart here. I'd love to hear your opinion on it, guys.
Yeah, so I got out of Lily here. I like the short, and it was doing stuff on the book. Like I said, with Lily, what I like to see is a steady kind of slowing movement in the direction. And so I was a little bit upset at myself. I mentioned this when I missed my long on Lily yesterday, getting back into 837s because 837.01's on the bid, 837.02, 837.03. And I was like, Lily doesn't do this, get long. Well, in the short here, I'm involved. I get involved initially, I think like I wanted 897.25s because A, I like the 897 area, and B, we had like 897.25s. 97.24s. It was like that kind of slow churn. Didn't get filled. Then I ended up getting filled there around like 820. Basically, also just to clarify, I got out because we got above that into that 890. We were moving kind of violently into that 898, 899 area that I just didn't want to be part of. So that's where I risked it. Happy I managed it appropriately. But I also just to clarify why I like the short. So I get involved. Ended up getting filled at 896.42s, and we get to 896.80s after popping up. So we chill here at 896.80s. 896.78s. 896. I'm like, that kind of slow breakdown on the ask, that is the type of thing that when you see in Lily, you take note of. So I was like, okay, she's going to break down. And then she's like, oh, no, pops back higher. So it's all good. Got out. Happy I managed it appropriately. Looks like I should have risked a little bit more into that 900 because, again, we get back near 900. Lily sells right back off. I'm not getting back involved in this till I have better levels, but I'm really happy I took the trade because if you like stuff, like I said, this was my big ride or die level. I tried it. Didn't work out. All good. Where's the next trade? As Obi likes to say, oh boy, Lily, you gave me a wild ride. You know what? If I want to chili a little bit here in my next trade, maybe I should be involved in Disney, which again is doing a cool 10-cent range. No, I'm joking. If I did, actually, if you took this Disney range with size, that could maybe be kind of lucrative, but it's not super straightforward. Like Scott Matthews in the chat said this about the whole market, and I echo this with the market, but also Disney. Love a range day, but this is a mess, LOL. I do agree. This day has been a little bit different. You know what I mean? And this Disney range even, I love the idea of this kind of grinding higher, but we have these rejection at VWAP that I'm like, why would I go long here? Lily's a long, says Hog Rider, been very strong all day. Think buying the dip is better with the catalyst. I don't disagree. We did keep having those rejections. Happy I tried it, but really it should have been that first level I loved, which was an initial 900 breakdown that I didn't take because I didn't get my retest. So all good there. Shout out to Elon Lawless saying Obi's my dog, the realist on the show. So shout out to you, Elon Lawless, and also shout out to Obi, and shout out to all of you guys in the chat. Any tickers you like, get in that chat, exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever tickers you're fancy. But also, if there's any other tickers you're looking at, you know, what's really cool is for earnings and sometimes just not for earnings, we have this awesome new sponsor that you can look at. And we are brought, they did not realize how long this video was.
I know.
We're brought to you by stonks.com. So if you want a chance to win $1,000 every day, stonks.com is giving out $1,000 daily, and entering is super easy. Predict the stock price after earnings reports. And today we're actually looking at Ethereum. So not earnings, but just a fun name that is on watch here. So all it takes is 30 seconds to join. Just go to stonks.com, sign up, and hit that make prediction button and potentially win $1,000. It's that simple. Each day you get one free ticket to predict. And if you want more chances, just share your referral link and give get 5 extra tickets for each sign up. Go to stonks.com. Don't miss out, and best of luck. Yeah, I honestly, guys, I'm still waiting to get a sense of this market. I was kind of joking about the Disney range, but honestly, Disney, if you really just want to give me that range, I'll take 10 pennies with size. I do not even care. I don't have a read on a lot in this market right now, so I'm trying to be patient, trying to wait. Very excited to trade, but I want to take trades that make sense to me.
All right, I was able to take a profitable trade on Upstart, both long and short. I don't know how this is happening, Adara, but I think I'm just pushing my leg today. So
Congrats.
we gotta pump the brakes here because I feel I'm not doing poorly, but you know, it's just a matter of time till I start doing poorly. If this is going to be my style of trading, this is kind of how I feel. Experience is kicking in here. You just know when you're testing your luck. So we're doing all right, but I'm not going to take any more boneheaded trades. And I feel like zigging and zagging like this is boneheaded trading for me. I'm just speaking for myself, okay? So anyway, Upstart topping till candle. I was able to secure shorts. Thank you very much, Neil. What I'm looking for now, I'm going to be hands off. I was able to take a nice trade on this one 2 times, but we're either going to break 37, which is where the 10 exponential on the 5 is, or I'm not doing nothing no more, okay? So we're either going to bounce off that level or give way at that level, and then I'll make my decision as to how I want to trade it. Here's what I'm seeing on the 5-minute chart, and that's why I keep looking to the side, because I chart off the 5, I execute off the 1. If you've been watching, you know. So here we are, topping tail, candles of indecisions, showing that buyers are running out of steam, maybe sellers taking over, or maybe people just beak wetting. Whatever the deal is, we're on the way down, lower lows, lower highs, looking for that 10 exponential hold. Not like 37 is some, you know, long established resist or support level or previously resistance or anything like that, but it is where the 10 exponential is, and it's a very strong stock. So if it's very strong, I'm looking for a shallower retracement as my first mode of thinking. The 10 breaks, which is the green line, then I'm looking at the yellow. You guys know I look to the 10 and the 20. Shout out to the NOS boss today, who created an entire indicator based on the difference between essentially the 10 and 20. He uses the 8 I use the 10. Adara uses the 9. You guys get it. It's supposed to be a shorter dated one and a longer term one. If you guys want that indicator, there it is right there. This is what Trade Ideas offers you. You go onto their website, use TraderTV.live, and you can get that too. So UPST still hanging out at a 3/4. 37 1/4. I'm still keeping my eye on that 37 level. Still has not come into play yet. Very much interested on that level on UPST. Good day, well, good couple of days, I should say, for UPST. There's been this Intel trade too, and I've had INTC up there. It's a holdover from yesterday, and you can see here, it's been an absolute short, the 10 exponential type of day. Every single touch into the 10 exponential has sold off. You've got wicks that breach it, but the closing prints are just too weak to close above the 10. So it's been a short kind of day for INTC. We'll keep an eye on that one.
Keep eyes, NTC.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Let's have a look at the Mag 7. All right, the dead one is coming in back into 215 now. It's been straddling the 10 exponential on the 5 for 4 candles now. Prior to that, it had only been a 2-candle love affair over here at 1040 and 1045. Now in this consolidation mode, you're not going to see me want to get too gung-ho and want to short this because it doesn't have to retrace. It can consolidate, and it's done that lately. So keeping an eye on Apple here. I'm also very aware that Apple now, at least on an intraday basis, not a closing print yet, obviously, because the end of the day hasn't come. But it's above that 213 level. And if this is the level we've been talking about lately, here's the half-an-hour chart that we were looking at, that 213 level. This is the double bottom off which we were using support. That gave way, obviously, on Monday, and then we started using it as resistance. But I made this point to you guys yesterday that we were putting incrementally higher lows on a day basis and keeping that flat top. We know that to be an ascending wedge, despite the fact that we didn't have an uptrend preceding it. So we've broken through 215. If we close this way on Apple, like in that 215, high 214s, then I think we can squeeze likely maybe next week, or maybe not even next week, who knows, into that 225 area, because that is kind of like the range there between that 214 and that 225 given the previous price action. So AAPL in play. Meta, the Zuck train, the Zuck train's putting in bottoming tail candles over here, showing its strength. So we've got the respect for the 10 exponential when it comes to closing prints. But look at these wick babies over here. They all bounce off the 20, and the wicks show you buyer exuberance when you see them from the downside. Seller exuberance when you see them from the upside. Buyer exuberance on MET, and I made this point to you guys yesterday. My trading central thing, Majig, always seems to have Meta as a long bias for whatever reason, with the rest of the Mag 7 being short bias. So something's afoot with the Zuck train on over here as it reclaims 500 Adara, and it's up into that 514 area. I'm all eyes and ears. I want to see exactly if we can possibly weasel our way into META. Looks like the dead one is not dead yet, still holding here. And guys, I'm just joking when I call it the dead one. I'm talking about Apple. It's still holding on to 215, zigging and zagging, a little bit above 1%, a little bit below. I should mention this as well, and I've been looking at this on TSLA. So this white thin line over here at generally 199, 198.86 or whatever it is there, that is a Tesla's closing print from yesterday. And when we rejected that 195 level, bouncing off 195, we got into that 99 level and then rejected again. We're dancing with VWAP now. If we hold up at this level, it'll be a higher low and a possible inverse head and shoulders. So I'm all eyes here for TSLA down, Adara, 0.2%.
Yeah, I mean, I want to shout out, because there are two names that were just mentioned in the chat. I had levels, or I was looking at both of them. One of them is Disney. Grov saying Disney breaking out the double bottom seems like it was a good long. I was looking at this as it broke above 20s, didn't get in, but I just got in here now because I like this VWAP bounce, and the reason I got in here, which you could be like a Dara, that's a little bit of a higher level to get in at. I was going to risk into 20s. If we break below VWAP at 20s, I'll get out. I'm cool with that. We're 5 pennies in the money on Disney, willing to build into this position. I'll add if we get to 60s, which is that pre-market bottom of the range. If we get there, I will add if we break above it. So that's going to be the look here. Risking 10 pennies, looking to make or at least add at least 30 pennies. So for me, 3-to-1 risk to reward. A little bit of a steeper risk to reward for me, so that's cool. Did lose on AMD. Happy I tried this trade, but I should have. scalp Adara. If you're going to take these AMD trades, you should scalp it. Because I got involved here. We had this, rejection of the 90 MA. We were rejecting that 70s level. It looked good. Then I noticed because I got involved 133.40s. I noticed we're starting to hold at support at 40s, but I was like, Adara, wait till 60s, wait till whatever. It's fine. Lost. Where's the next trade? Palantir, though, really breaking out here. Daryl Flinch was talking about this one. I was also looking at that one here. Palantir is.
Obi says that there's 1,000 lots at that 30 level. 10,000 lots. So that's 1 million shares. That's 1 million shares, Adara, right there on that $30 level. We know 30 is a level on Palantir. We know that. Yeah. So sorry to interrupt you.
No worries. Good look here in Palantir. Bouncing off the 90 MA. Yeah, this 30s could be a wild look here. That 29.85 as a dip, that would be kind of my level for it if I were to get involved. But clearly Palantir is like, I do not care. Pushing even higher. Palin clearing 30. Woo! Let's see if Palin clears 30 there. We can get it a Palin beer. Cheers to that if it breaks above that level. Disney back below 30s here, but still above 20. So if we bounce off you up here, I will stay in. Like I said, I'm not like crazy proud of the trading I'm doing today. I should have just waited for just cat all eyes on Lilly instead of having my market a little bit all above, because that is definitely the stock I still feel the best about my levels on. We're still breaking down here. I timed the short wrong because Lilly is still kind of in that range. But if we break below that 894, which is A, basically VWAP right now, more or less, and B, that was a huge level of support in the book. If we break below 894, it's game over, in my opinion, until at least 887 on Lilly. So we're going to see what happens there. You could be like Adara, you lost it. I'm not scared. If you believe in a stock, okay, within reason. If you believe in it, if you take it within reason, if you're responsible with it, responsibility is key, right? It's great power. With great buying power comes great responsibility. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. But again, guys, if there's any stocks you guys like, get into that here chat. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you are looking at, let us know. Yeah, this SPY super chop and churn. I'm just really waiting for some levels and some things I like. Like I said, I like that Disney pop up there. So happy I was able to kind of get involved in this. And again, shout out to Kara for mentioning this as well. We'll see if this Disney long actually comes to fruition as the SPY does a bit of chip chopping over here. Palantir is what, that F-Zeta, we do have that order waiting there at PLTR. Some people waiting here at 30s. Palantir after wicking into 30s. High of day, $29.99. Coming back down. So let's see what we do here as we try to push higher. Mark Knight saying it's a premium sellers type of day. Data coming in nicely. That's interesting. Yeah, like a little bit of market analysis there. Right now, I am analyzing Disney coming back to 20s. 21, please do something for me, Disney. And by that, I mean bounce. How are you doing?
I'm in Palantir. I'm looking to defend that 90 area. We'll see, because that was a consolidation area top before we were able to break through it. So we'll see exactly what we get. I'm not expecting a whole lot here, but this area we're zigging and zagging right now. So, we're going to give this one the old community college try. It ain't the biggest trade, but if we can get part of this 30 break, if we get a 30 break, I should say, I just want to participate. That's all. So PLTR obviously looks like a better short off 30 given the amount of size that there is, but I was hoping to, just trade a little bit into that 30 level. So we'll see what we get there. I'm still keeping an eye on Apple because it just dipped into 215 again. So that's an interesting area there on AAPL. Where's my Apple screen? There it is. Oh, that's Upstart. There's the Apple screen, 215, but it's putting in incrementally lower lows and lower highs off that 215.74 touch. So I'm anticipating something along the lines of maybe a 214.5 or 214.75, something breaching that 215 level. If we can get something like that, we shall see. There's a hidden seller here at 95, and there it goes. So we just printed on Palantir. Let's see if we can break 30. 98's coming again. I really doubt it we break now, but we'll participate in this because it's exciting, right? So we'll see. Yeah, because this is a show too. As much as we are trading, we are doing a show. So we let's see here. Here come 98s. All right. Now we're able to see the big boy size, and I do see Upstart is tanking. I do have shorts, I see that, but I have to look at this one right now. So we'll look to see if we can weasel our way into that 30 area, and if we can squeeze past 30, even better. There is the look on Upstart. It's a 38.5 top. We just broke aggressively down into 36.80. Where is that? On the 5-minute look. Okay, so we've just breached the 10 exponential on the 5 for the first time on the day. It's actually the first time we even touch it. since essentially 10:10 a.m. when we went red to green. So once we cleared the 10 exponential, we really hadn't touched it till around this candle over here, 11:45. This 11:50 candle breaching it for the first time. Oh, baby. Could we get a 36.25 bounce over here at the volume weighted average price? It looks like it is breaching 37. This is the operative candle right here, that topping tail 11:30 candle. So we'll see if we can get continuity through that level. Let's zig and zag back into Palantir. We still haven't even come into that 30 level yet. We de-risked a little bit over here to see if we could weasel our way through 30. It's an elusive target. I don't anticipate clearing it, right away. Guys, people were talking about this $30 level on Palantir prior to earnings. Before that gnarly tank that we had on Monday, we had Palantir, when did they report? Tuesday or Wednesday?
They reported Monday after the close.
They reported? They didn't report yet.
They did report Monday
after the close.
Yes.
Thank you. So when we had that tank Monday morning, everybody was saying, oh, that $30 level could come in after earnings. We could break that key area of technical resistance. And then it tanked like a lot. I think it dropped $10 or something like that. And then it worked its way back up. But I don't think if we get that huge sell-off on Monday, we're even talking about this $30 level, because I think it would have reached it at the time. Trader CL longs look so good today. Agree. Even though we're not that high up on the future, I think some of these names are setting up quite nicely right now. Just got a monster sell there on Palantir, as the blue came in fast and furious on my tape. And if you know what the blue is on my tape, if you've been watching the show, that's below the bid. That just shows panic amongst sellers or people trying to get out. So it shows when it comes when the orders come in under the bid, it shows blue. When the orders come in above the ask, it shows orange. Yellow is the midpoint, green is obviously the ask, and red is the bid, in case you're wondering there. And the reason I have that, okay, so now we're breaking down here below 90. I'm going to give this to 85, and that's the end of that trade. So we'll give back a little bit on Palantir, still positive on it though. Want to see if we can actually end up breaking through that 30 penny area. We're going to leave that one to do its thing, 25, because I like 25. All right, you know that. At this level, back to Upstart. Oh, Apple. Okay, so finally, Apple breaks 215. Apple's at the 20 exponential on the 5 at 214 and 2/3. What's the move here? I'm going to see if we can weasel into the $0.50, but this is the first time Apple is touching the 20 exponential on the 5 in the day, giving back about 0.3% in terms of gains, up at about 1% down now, 0.2% Adair.
Yeah, I'm scalping NVIDIA on this flat bottom break. We'll see how this goes. If I see anything that changes on the book, like a big old back above 104, I'm getting out. I started looking at this. I was like, hey, look at these lower high. Yeah, that's the word I was trying to say. Correct. Lower highs, right? Below the 90 EMA. I was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Blah. Missed that move down, was not able to get involved. And then I saw we kind of broke below that 104. Then we had a bit of pop-up in the SPY, a bit of pop-up in the NVIDIA. We break back below the 104. That's where I got short. I don't know. I was trying to make a pun, but I can't think of one. So yeah, right now we're NVIDIA. I do not love that we're back above this 104, but as long as we stay below 104.10s, I'm kind of okay with this. Honestly, I definitely need to have more confidence up in here, and I don't know why I don't. I think maybe we need some more coffee, so I'm going to be continuing to chug that coffee. Got a tea in one hand, got a coffee in the other. Hydration nation, baby. Also, there's a water. So there we go, NVIDIA. Breakdown lower. But anyways, to answer, I guess, maybe not a question, but the reason I chose NVIDIA as we got this move down was because NVIDIA did have that flat bottom break, so I figured with that breakdown, there could, or at least in my opinion, more or less a flat bottom break. With that breakdown, I thought there could be a move here. Not a ton of size because, like I said, I'm trying to get back some of that confidence here. Tried to take Tesla at the 197 breakdown, but then I accidentally tried to order way too many shares and did not get filled. Thank goodness. So, yeah, whole dollar break on Tesla missed, whole dollar break on SPY missed, but I do like this whole dollar breakdown in NVIDIA. Let's see if the bread can be procured, if we can indeed get this bread. We're kind of breaking back above 110s. I'm out here for now. Please just punch. No, I'm not. I lost like 10 pennies, though. So management, right? Management's huge. I want to talk about Disney, though, because Disney, this management I am deeply proud of. I got involved when we broke above, like I said, Disney above VWAP I liked. We were like 5 pennies in the money briefly. Then we come back to 20s, and I said, if we break below 20s, I'm out. We bounce off 20s. Then we come back to 20s. We whiffle, we waffle. I say to Derek, cut it here. Lost 10 cents. I get out. Disney drops. So thank you, Mouse, for your service. Unfortunately, we were not able to have like a beautiful memory today in the most magical place on earth. But maybe next trade we'll have to see what happens here. Thoughts on Shark Ninja, says Anthony Vance. Thank you for your $4.99 super chat. They, I believe, reported after the close on the earnings day one was yesterday for them, is what I'm trying to say. I know that. SN here. I remember bringing this one up on the big desk. They're actually not a small cap. They got a market cap around 10 million shares. I like this 89.80 bounce, because that was a bit of an area. We had kind of a bull flag. We come up here. We break above. Then we come back down. Look where he bounced off VWAP. It's not just VWAP, though. It's one of these areas at which we consolidated during our bull flag. So I think that's an interesting look here. Let's take a look at the daily chart here.
Market's tanking, Dara.
Our pal Shark Ninja, to see if there's any areas that we could be ninja-esque at. Oh, yeah, honestly, daily charts like this, all I have to say is, wow, clear massive volume spike on that earnings report. Honestly, for me, I see really clear support going back to 71s, because that was an area we had a little bit of a pause in our uptrend coming back to May 6th. Got it again here, July 12th. And then again, late July with lower highs too. So it looks like we're setting up for a flat bottom break, but that support holds and we push higher. To me, I love that level. Also, this area from whence we gapped around 72s up into 76s is not bad either. But for me, like I would see what we do at 80s. That was a bit of a resistance area earlier on in this daily chart with some wicks up there. 80s is not bad, but that support to me at 71s really strong. I like this look on S to the N. How are you doing?
I'm good. The market's tanking, and well, I always say that, and then people are like, it's not tanking. And so I'm trying to correct myself.
Market is on a slow downtrend.
Yes, the market dropped below 1850 and below the volume weighted average price. And it's trying to work its way possibly back into 1850 right now. That caused me to go long on Apple because Apple wasn't giving up the level despite the fact that the market was coming down. So we're going to give this one the old community college try and see if we can work into a little bit of profit here. It's more of a scalp kind of day for me today. I'm not really holding on to my positions for all that long because I feel like I don't have the requisite read on the market. And that's all right. You can't always have a read. At least I can't always have a read. Anyway, below the volume weighted average price, trying to work back into 18.5. I was talking to Dan the Man Emmons in the chat, and he's like, look, man, I'm still short on these futures. I'm looking down a little bit more, but we're printing up here on Apple. So good trade so far. Was able to wet my beak. Let's see if we can get something at around 15s for a possible retracement. I'm going to sit just in front of that level. If the market is able to work back into 18.5, maybe Apple can work back into 215. That's the idea so far. We'll see if that is misguided or what the sitch is. So keeping an eye on that. I see there was some super chats here. I will look at it in a second, Big Spile. I know you sent a Big Spile. I sent you my chart on IG. We'll look at it in a second. I'll post it for everybody to see. Anthony. Thoughts on Shark?
Oh, I just did that one.
You did. Thank you. I apologize.
No worries. Shout out on your trades.
Thank you for the $5.99 super chat. Here we go. Big Spile. Get down. Dan Emmons, Sharif, Kyle, can I send you my chart to show you what I saw there? Yeah. If you can send it to Big Spile and Big Spile can send it to me. Otherwise, Dan, just send it to me directly on my IG and it's all good there. Daryl Finch. Says, I actually went short Palantir, $29.98, only a quarter left to cover. I still think we can break 30, but good, quick, 15 cents. Shout out to you, my man. What's the look on Palantir? The boys over there are chuckling, so I'm not sure what's going on. Yeah, it's all the way back up, knocking on that door, that 295, 230 again. There's accumulation because we have higher lows. So be careful with this one, guys. Shout out to Daryl Finch for printing on that, but, you know, this thing has been accumulating for a 30 break for a hot minute. So you don't want to stand in front of this if it really does go. I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying be careful. Wet my beak on Apple, still holding that $0.25, $0.00 level. I don't want to get out of this super quick. I'd like to see what we do here, but it does look like we are going to drop down a little bit. So you know what? I'm just going to get out here. That's fine. And I'll look to get back in at a more advantageous level. Trader, CL, Nikkei futures look insanely weak. News-related question mark? By the way, going to London to watch the Gunners and the Wolves. You're lying, man. You're going to go to the first game? Man, I've always wanted to do that. And I can't travel this year because of the build-out, but that's my problem, not yours. Shout out to you, man. I hope you have a fantastic time. I didn't even know you were. I totally forgot you were an Arsenal fan. Come on, you Gunners, COYG. I'm there with you in spirit, man. Shout out to Trader Dang CL. Awfully jealous I am at the moment. Not gonna hide that at all. All right, we're gonna send it over to Adair in a second, but I want to see what Big Spile sent me over here. Apparently, he sent me the chart that he's printing up a storm on, and there's a picture of earthquake here too, which is sick. Remember earthquake? Yes. What was his name, Neil? You don't remember his name? I know he was Canadian. Yeah.
He had a name, and that's
he had a name. Believe it, and it wasn't earthquake. It wasn't earth.
Really, he wasn't born.
Do you know what this guy's move was? His finishing move? He would lay his opponent flat down on the mat.
Tell me about him.
And then he would jump around Adara, mimicking the earthquake, and then he'd run from the rope and sit on their chest.
You did tell me this.
And then they'd take them out on a stretcher because he'd collapse their ribcage, Adara. He was just so big.
We are going to Neil now, though, also with that fun transition. We're going to earthquake over to our pal Neil to the Roberts and his lesson of the day.
Welcome to the lesson of the day. It does nothing to do with a Canadian wrestler named Earthquake, because I don't remember his name, but that's old school right there. I want to first, I think this got missed, so I want to shout out to Brent Roth. Thank you for the super chat. That is not my chart. That might be Obi or maybe, there you go. So yeah, shout out to Brent Roth. Been buying and selling the Apple 207.5 call. Thanks. Congratulations to you. Apple's been a print factory to the upside, but it just lost the 215 level. But the lesson today, let me just pop that back into the chat because I like to have it up there just in case. But the lesson today, and I've taken, on my 15-minute, I've taken executions off of my Palantir chart. And everyone's put you, $30 level, yada, 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 that's all well and good. But I think the lesson here is, when do you switch gears? Because very clearly, the last few sessions on Palantir have led you into some serious expectations. We started out the week with a bottom top $3 move when it was $21. Then we had a consolidation day, which was a 10% top to bottom move, 25 to 27.5. We followed that up with a day where top to bottom, it's 28 back into 26. Again, close to double digit move on Palantir. Then yesterday was a rip your face off rally, taking out the earnings high late in the day, and another 10% move. So when it holds the open above this resistance level, you've got to be thinking, we're just going to explode. I know anyone going for longs like we were and have been off the 29 level has got to be thinking, where's the $2, $3, 10% move going to be in Palantir here today? Well, truth be told, you can see that it just hasn't happened. It's gotten to the high of $30, and it's done so going cleanly from 29, but all of the insanity that we've been seeing in terms of volatility that you've been getting the last 4 sessions has not been there. Now, obviously, I'm not going to fault anybody. Early in the session, it was giving you, like, if you had the bottom at 29, you were 29 quarter, you were getting all the way to 29.75. That's 50 pennies. That's a couple of points. Great. VWAP was stalling. And I think at some point, like, everybody has their own way of doing things. But once we observed that seller there at 75, not even the 80s, it became pretty clear that the way to go about this was going to have to be a scalp trade, which that's not even normally the, like, I normally wouldn't, my chart wouldn't look like this. Sean's chart would look like this. My chart wouldn't look like this. But the way that it's moving today, if Palantir was the focus, I didn't see another way. You could just be long at the bottom, never taking any stop outs, which I have been. That's an out, but we're back in each time. Now I'm just going long on higher lows into the 30 level because it's been a scalp trade. It's the 30 level at this point, it seems like such a big one that everyone's staring at that I'm anticipating bamboozlement and then the retracement back into 20-cent range trading, and you'd rather have the dip buy than the break. But when you have days like this previously, your first expectation is that you're going to get something similar in terms of volatility. But when you see the opposite happen, look at this channel, you got to switch gears. Now, if you were still holding on for the big move for the first half an hour or hour, great. But once you started to really see it go station to station, taking advantage and just doing the best that you can inside the range became a very valuable strategy because you can still be long going into it. Like my last buy was in here at 82s. I had one in the 70s as well, into that $30 level before it breaks. And then if we get the breakout, you know how big this level is. We know it's massive. You go all the way back here in the weekly, and this is $30 in here. 30, 30, just under 30. That's 30. So it's a huge, huge level. Why shouldn't we expect some accumulation underneath that if it's even going to break? So take advantage of the extra volume and volatility and go to work. Take that scalp trade. Do whatever makes sense to you, but I'm just saying it's going to give you that chance. And if you don't have to worry, if you're a prop trader, of course, we don't have to worry about how many trades we can make. If you're on PDT, I get it, buy the low and then hold on to it because you have different rules. When you have the ability to take multiple executions, it's showing you a chop range, which we talked about in the pre-market show, that you could get a range-bound volatile day. I feel like that's exactly what we're getting. And I'm going to use one other stock to exemplify this point. This morning, I saw a lot of people in the chat. I keep checking over because it's 97. I don't want to, it's going to get to 30. But I saw a lot of people talking about how weak Google was. Now, I'm not here to tell you that the market has done or Google has done anything crazy relative to the market, but it was really, really weak. The market caught a bid, and look at what you could be doing. If you just said Alphabet is weak relative to the market, if the market's not breaking the highs, look at all of the wicks and all of the tops on Alphabet. And all you had to identify was every other big cap Mag 7 name wasn't doing what it was doing, and it was weak. It tries one breakout right at the open, and after that, false break at 161, false break, lower high wicks into VWAP. Lower high, one big breakdown, same lower high. Now you're getting lower highs again. It's just sell, 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 and it's just churning. It was relatively weak. The market's not going anywhere right now. So you find something and you pop into the short. Just move from station to station. If there's no bigger moves happening, I'll end off with like an Intel, which is very similar. And again, it's just, I've missed a bunch of the VWAP trades here, but look at the stock. The market wasn't doing much. It wasn't blowing out the highs. It was weaker than the others. It broke. You're not trading it when it breaks. Short. You can short at VWAP every single time. Every little curl and wick is a chance to get into that stock. If we're going to have that kind of a day, be able to switch gears. Now, Intel ended up tanking way more than I expected. I never actually got into full position. Alphabet, let's be real. I didn't focus on this. We've been focusing on Palantir and now maybe some of this huge stock. But when these markets are like this, you can take advantage when you start seeing this pattern. And then if the futures break out the high, you get off the offer. If the futures break out the low, you get off the bid if that's what you're doing. So there's all kinds of ways that you can play this. And again, just to reiterate, there is nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with, you could be long that higher low support, 29.30, 29.40 on Palantir with a stop underneath here. And you're just letting it fly. Effectively, everyone's going to do their own thing. As a day trader with the ability to scalp in and out, we know we can take advantage of action like this and be long the entire way through. But if you can adapt to the market in front of you instead of the one that you had the day before or the week before, it's going to bode you very, very well. Last 4 days have been ridiculously explosive. Twice, 3 times the moves at times intraday here for something like Palantir. The faster you're able to recognize the market you're in, the better off you're going to be if you want to be an active trader. Again, you don't have to be an active one, but if you are, identifying that you're in a range bound is going to be very, very valuable. And the entire time I'm here, it still won't even break the 30 level. That's Palantir, but adjust to the market that you're in. It's your lesson of the day, and good luck, everybody, on this 30.
Neil Roberts, baby. Hot lines daily at 12 o'clock. Thank you very much, Neil. Neil's lesson of the day. We call it Neilage around here, around these parts. Does that work? Can we say that?
It does work.
That work. Okay, cool.
We're Southern. Yeehaw.
don't know if I'm Southern, but
we're Western.
I'm going to Boots and Hearts on the weekend, Adara. Speaking of Southern, country
Enjoy.
music. Country music festival, so it should be a lot of fun. If anybody wondering what I'm talking about, I'm not making up words. It's a country music festival up north of Toronto over here. It's like on the weekend kind of thing. Very excited for that. Very pumped. Hopefully the weather holds up. It's in this area called Oro Medonte. Kind of doesn't really work with the whole GTA area because it doesn't really sound like...
I haven't even heard of that.
Yeah, I know. It's like north of Vaughan off the 400. Anyway, Huge. I'm in Huge at 30 pennies. Trying to look for a 20 exponential on the 5 hold. That's the look there. That's why I'm in it. It's going to be 3 pennies worth of risk. Breaks 27, I'm gone. The reason is, in fact, I should be looking to break 28, I'm gone. There's an obvious level of price action resistance at 28 and the 20 exponentials at 29. So I'm giving it 27 out of the goodness of my heart. It shouldn't even be given 27. It should be a 28. Wham, bam, thank you. Huge. So we'll see if we can get anything, extract anything from HUGE, small cap gapper du jour, up big boy on the day. Holding right now generally at 30 pennies. I saw people in the chat talking about Upstart. Oh, baby. It's back at the volume weighted average price, and that VWAP happens to be about 36 1/3. It's printing 36 2/3 right now. Looks like it rejected that general area of 37 on its way back up. I want to see if it holds VWAP. I don't need to be first. There's plenty of room from where VWAP is to the high of day at 38.50 for me to profit on a possible bounce off the volume weighted average price. So I'm packing my patience with UPST. I want to see if it holds, breaks, or what it does. Is Coulter Wall going to be there? Asks Bears versus Bulls. Good question. I didn't look at the whole list, but I know there's about 30 hours worth of concerts, Adara. Yeah, so it's gonna be a you know what show. Yeah, we can't say that word, but it's all good.
I know what show you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. So I don't know. I will check Bears versus Bulls. Thank you for asking that, though. I want to know what I'm going to be listening to, but I don't really think it's going to be the music that I'm going to be too concerned with there.
Just the vibes.
Just the vibe, right? So it looks like we're holding up here on Huge for the moment. There is a seller at Adara at 31.13, so we're going to pack our patience and just let this one be, do its thing, 21 or 25 or whatever.
Or 31.
Or 33 is Adara, which is where I'm waiting.
Let him in, Huge.
Sorry.
He should be up huge on this position.
Oh, God. That's like, that's not true. But anyway, here's the...
I said he should.
He should, yes.
That's what I said.
There you go.
So that is true. Is it not true?
There
Should you not be up huge?
I don't know. A good question. All right, so let's keep an eye on some of these Mag 7 names. We gave way here. Look, I had this line drawn on the NQ September contract. We were putting in higher lows. I know Dan the Man Emmons was saying he's still looking short. I still think we're putting in higher lows with some weakness. So we don't really need to break down or to break up. We can whiffle and waffle. It's an absolutely acceptable or reasonable thing to happen on the future. We don't need direction. We can definitely consolidate. So keeping an eye here. If I had to guess, I think we're on the way down. I'm all eyes and ears at 214 on AAPL. That is where the volume weighted average price is. It's a good area of technical previously resistance. Now we'll see if it is support breaking down below 215 decidedly now at the half dollar, 214, half dollar, and even breaking down below that. Break it down. Meta. 511.5, the volume weighted average price, trying to work off that. That's 4 candles now, 5-minute candles in a row that Meta has held the volume weighted average price. So it looks like there's someone buying up a storm in front of that 511 area, holding it from descending any lower. And it did dip a little bit when the futures gave way at that 18.5 area, but definitely not as much as all the other names. Apple and Meta seem to be a bit stronger than the other bunch at the moment. Uh-oh, we got a topping tail. That's no good on Huge. Look at Dara. Can I show you this? Come on, how annoying is that, bruh?
Girl.
How annoying is that? Like, I should have been a skosh lower, but that's my problem, not yours. So I'm going to pack my patience. My stop is already in play. Topping tails can be bamboozling because they can force people out of trades that are good. If I get forced out, I get forced out. The stop's in play. So we're going to see exactly what we get, and we will not get upset. Big Smile Burdette, $5 super chat. I need to read this before I read it out
You
loud.
probably
'Cause
should.
Big Spile, sometimes you're a liability, Big
lines.
Spile. We love you around these
He's
parts.
a big spile ability.
Big spy ability. Sharif is planning to stand in front of his campsite lifting weights as the ladies walk by, and the mean, I think he meant men, ask him how he hit those delts so hard. You wouldn't be wrong about that, dude. That's not actually a misassessment at all. So shout out to Big Spile. He knows what's good. Love that guy. Always making me chuckle there.
Yeah. So, I want to shout out your huge trade on huge, and the fact that you took Palantir earlier too, like that. You got to go after stuff you believe in and are excited about. I am, the exhaustion a little early today, so we're all good. We have coffee. We may hit up energy drinks later if required. Shout out to Monster Energy, which reported a few days ago. Celsius also reported this week, so I think the universe is like Adara, long energy drinks. But let's pull up actually the Monster chart just because I mentioned Monster, and why not? MNST. We're not sponsored. Yeah, thank you, Fabian, for saying hashtag not sponsored. I don't know if that was sarcasm or not, but we're not.
Not yet.
But also, energy drink people, if you want to sponsor me, I think I'd be a good choice. That's all I'm saying. But, double top, higher lows on Monster. It's not perfect. Let's on the, why am I on the 3-minute? Okay, it's a little, I would say it's just kind of more generally bullish on the 10-minute. I like the higher lows, not one that I would trade. I've tried to trade Monster once. The way it moves is like not really for my type of vibe, but I did get short the Qs here. We got above 63, I'll get out, risking 10 pennies, tight risk. I was looking to add to, also I don't know if I said this on the show yesterday, I definitely said it after the show when I was like, Opie and I were back here and everybody, like, we were like talking about like, I was like, I don't know why I keep trading the Qs because I am such a bad read on the Qs. And then I realized as well, my thing with the Qs is, I mentioned this yesterday on the show, because they're levered, I feel like I'm overwhelmed by them. But the other thing that I was saying yesterday after the close or whatever is that because they're cheap, I feel like I'm like, I can like load into it. No, Adara. So my new rule for the Qs, I started a really, really tiny position. The plan was going to be to add in as we broke lower. We did not. I got out. Also, SPY, is usually that I prefer to scalp. I tried to take a couple breaks at that 530. SPY was like, I will not be breaking 530. Sharif actually saw me talking to it. I was like, SPY, you're not a punk. You can break lower. And then SPY popped 15 cents. No joke. So I was like, believe you. We're going to let that thing break. We're going to let it do its thing 21. 530.30s, though. That was interesting. That's what pushed me out of that initial SPY short at 530.25s because we were breaking below 530.30s. Then we broke above it and held it as support. Got out. So I honestly, like I said, not proud of all the decisions that were made. I should have just had my eye on Lily because Lily was the stock.
30 got taken, Adara.
30 got taken on Palantir.
Did it, Obe?
Was that what
I don't
was said?
see the print.
What was said?
Yeah. The size is gone though, Adara. Come to my screen, Fabian, please, because I want to show okay, well, it's gone now. Wait till it comes back. There was 10,000 lots when we were talking about last time. Wainers was able to count that. Look at this now. We have significantly less lottage at that $30 level. Wow. I think that's what Obi was yelling about because we got up to 30. We topping tailed at 30. Or not topping tail, we wicked into 30, and all that size is gone. All that 10,000 lots that we were looking at, now we're looking at regular size at that level here, so we'll see exactly what happens. That's very interesting, exactly what happened there on Palantir. 2 1/3 right now, as we try to knock on the door of that $30 level. We'll have to see how much of that was shown. Remember, we just talked about this. How much of the order was shown and how much is sitting there under. Here we are again. 30 just got touched again. So there's obviously an iceberg here. Let's see how big of an iceberg there is at 30. We're watching 30 print. I'm actually seeing size being added onto the level at $30 right now. It's accumulating at that level, so up. But I don't think we get the break quite yet. Well, who knows when we get the break? A buyer could come in right now and push this through. So zigging and zagging right now. But yeah, you feel like that 30, it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of when that $30 level gets taken. Sean's probably like dancing up a storm right now, doing the wick shimmy on where is he at? He's in Rome? No, he's in London. Yeah, he's on the River Thames, just doing his little wick shimmy dance there, printing up a storm.
He's in a pub, probably.
Yeah, he's in a pub.
London.
All right, huge huge is breaking down. So a 28 break and I'm gone. That's it. So my stop is at 27, but I like the 28 level better. We're going to flatten if we break 28. I want no part of this trade if it goes against me, up 218%. Very disappointed that I didn't get printed at 33, but that's my problem. Should have been waiting at the mid print anyway. Zigging and zagging is huge. If it reclaims 30, I'll stop talking about it. But at the moment, I've really got nothing on that one other than wait for the print. Here it is, 30 again on Palantir. We're going to watch this one, zig and zag. Yeah, really nothing other to say than either it gets breached or it doesn't. So we'll pack our patience and see exactly what happens there. I'll send it to you while I set up for the lesson du jour.
Yeah, I'm honestly, like, I'm waiting for a trader to scream in my face, get involved. TQs are the closest. I don't know what I'm doing here. We got this TQs. Let's keep going here. But yeah, so we're slightly over the money on this. Why I got back in was because I was like, hey, we are still rejecting. We tried to wake up into this 90 MA in your VWAP, and the TQs were like, do I have to? And push lower. Now, I want to shout out someone in the chat. It's Rick for TQQ. He's saying for TQQQ, you need to give the trade room. So if my stop loss is 10 cents, I would give it 20 since it's 3 times leverage. That's a fair point, Rick. I appreciate that. My thing, though, with my scalping and just the way I trade, I know I can knock it. Like, the more I give the TQ, the more I just can't handle it. I have to keep my risk of the TQ tight. For this trade, I am giving it 15 cents because that's kind of where we had that previous wick into it. And I had a little bit of a larger position than I had the first time. Again, still pretty teeny tiny. But what I'm looking at, weirdly enough, I know this is an odd choice. I'm looking at the TQs, or I'm looking at the QQs as well, but I'm also looking at the SPY. SPY finally broke down that 530. If we retest 530, we stay below. I might also short the market, but I'm also short the market through the TQs here. We are about 10 pennies in the money. Let's get lower here on the TQs. I will be adding, if we break below 50s, retest and drop back down, and then we'll be adding a little bit to this position. I want a nice steady stream of profits to the downside. Yeah, anyways, I wanted to shout you out, Rick, for that. Sometimes you do need to give trades more room to run. Within reason, right? Within reason. And I think for me, I've noticed that when I give trades more room to run, when they're not like pure like range trades or support resistance trades, when it's scalps, when it's the futures, I find the more room I give it, the worse things go. The more lackadaisical I get with my trading. I'm a lot more disciplined in my trades when I give it basically no wiggle room. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do here. Look at SPY. 30-minute chart, says Kyle Burdett. Big SPY Burdett. Let me pull that up. Also, shout out to Terra Engineering saying TQ cubed. That's good instead of the TQ cubes. I like that because it's 3 Qs. Shout out to you there. Oh, the SPY 30-minute. Oh,
yeah, resistance 5. Yeah,
definitely some resistance there. Yeah, this is an interesting little look here. We're kind of below VWAP. Stuff to keep an eye on. But we keep bouncing off that 530s in the SPY, which I don't like. I think my TQs, we might have to see what I do here in the T's cubed, as Terra Engineering says. But you know what's really important always is learning. So we're going to be doing some of that.
Absolutely, Adair. Thank you for that segue. I'm still in huge, so if I have to, interrupt the lesson for a second, I do apologize, guys, just to be able to get out of it. It's not a huge position, but I had to do it for you, Adair.
Thank you.
Right there. All right, let's talk about these real-time. Sorry, Fabian. I didn't mean. Yeah, I know. Real-time trading strategies for earnings plays. So let's get right to it. So earnings releases are typically high volatility events, at least most of them are. To capitalize on these rapid price movements, traders employ real-time trading strategies. I'll get that right. So I'll be talking about 3 today. We're going to talk about scalping. We're going to talk about gap trades, and we're going to talk about trading price patterns. So 3 different types of trading methods, strategies, whatever you want to call it, for these earnings plays. Let's get right down to it. So scalping. Scalping, if you don't know, involves taking small profits essentially on rapid price fluctuations. A lot of day traders do it, right? The strategy here involves identifying stocks with high trading volume and volatility before that earnings release, okay? So you want to be able to see, if you want to use ATR, average true range, in order to gauge volatility, have at it. Whatever you want to use as your method to screen, have at it. Just find ones with high trading volume and high trading volatility. Then, with respect to your execution, what are you going to do here? You're going to keep one eye on the level 2 and the other one on time and sales. No, I'm kidding. You're on level 2. You're really going to observe order flow imbalance, a large imbalance of buy or sell orders before the earnings release. It can indicate to you good potential price movement. So you want to look at the time and sales. You want to analyze the speed and the size of the orders. Adair talks about this a lot. Obi does as well. A rapid increase in large or sell orders can signal a potential breakout on the horizon. 30 broke? Ooh. Okay, we're going to have a look quickly over here on Palantir. There goes 30. It's all over. That level's been breached. Is this all-time highs, guys, on Palantir? No, it's not all-time highs. All right, so $30 gets breached, a key area of technical support or resistance. Now, does it act as support? It's coming back into 30s. Can people buy this bad boy up? I think this is interesting here. Support flips or resistance flips to support and vice versa. Keep your eye on this one, guys. Great trade for whoever was hanging on to this bad boy. PLTR up 2 3/4. Doing a great job today. Shout out to everybody who took Palantir, Adair.
Yeah, so we keep Alex carping on about that one, but it just had that 30 break, which was pretty big.
Yeah, right. We got to talk about it, right? So you're gonna keep your eye on the time and sales. You're gonna keep your eye on the level 2, and you're essentially looking for large order imbalances, whether buy or sell. And I should mention to you, as I did the first time around, that there are ways for you to kind of filter out the riffraff. I love Wayne. Wayne, he's yelling at
When Wayne gets excited, it's beautiful. It's so fun.
I can't. When the traders back there go crazy, it's great. No, seriously though, you're gonna keep up your time in sales, and what you want to do here is you want to be able to keep an eye on the bigger orders that are coming. So if your platform allows you, you can go into that time in sales and filter it out. So if you don't want to see anything less than 100 share order come in, you can block all that. The traders on the floor here, a lot of them use different minimums and maximums, but you could filter anything less than 1,000. For example, it really depends on the stock. Obviously, you're not going to filter 1,000 on Lilly like you would on Huge, right? I mean, it just doesn't work that way. So you can employ these filtering strategies to help read the time and the sales and the level to a little bit better. But you also want to employ technical analysis. So you've got to be employing these moving averages, especially the faster moving averages like the 8, the 9, or the 10. And you also want a medium one in there as well. You want to throw the 20 or the 25 or whatever people are using these days and kind of get a sense of when the market's shifting based on the crosses. Your entry for the scalping, you're going to enter trades in the direction of the identified trend or imbalance if you're using the or the book. And your exit, typically, there's not a hard and fast rule, but typically you employ tight stop loss orders and set out predetermined profit takers, beak wetters, to manage risk and secure profits. And risk management is very important for scalping because typically you're taking a bit larger size for smaller movements. So if that's the case here, you got to make sure that you're okay using that larger size, right? So you got to make sure that it all jives with your trading strategy. So scalping aside, now let's talk about trading the different types of gaps that could happen as a result of earnings. Taking advantage of price gaps that occur immediately after an earnings release date. That's what we're going to talk about here. So first things first, you got to do a gap analysis. What type of gap am I seeing on the chart? And most people who watched our 2-week lesson on gaps should be very familiar with this, right? We have breakaway gaps, continuation gaps, exhaustion gaps, and any number of gaps in between. There's so many synonyms for the different gap names. So a breakaway gap is essentially similar to an initiation gap, but the difference between an initiation gap and a breakaway gap is a breakaway gap typically takes you above a key area of resistance or support, breaking down below support. So a gap up or down that occurs at a new high or at a new low, often indicating a strong trend continuation. That's what we're looking for here. You can consider, if you want, fading the gap, betting against it essentially, if the gap is excessively large. I would advise against that. I like to typically go in the direction of the trend, but if you're going to use this strategy, have your stop above the gap so that if it gets filled, you're out. Exhaustion gaps. You got to identify these gaps. So that's why we're going through them. Exhaustion gaps. This is a gap that typically occurs at the end of a strong trend. It's often followed by a reversal. This might be a good entry point in the opposite the direction of the gap. So remember, from our 2 weeks on gaps, there's 2 types of exhaustion gaps that can occur. Ones that gap up and that are not immediately, but shortly filled thereafter. And there's ones that gap down, that end the trend, basically right there. So 2 types of exhaustion gaps. It's incumbent upon you to know them and to be familiar with them before you trade them. Go huge. All right. And common gap as well. I personally wouldn't suggest trading these because they're often filled, but if you're good at trading these gaps that get filled pretty quickly, have at it. But a common gap is essentially a gap that occurs within a trading range. So during consolidation phase, it's often filled pretty quickly. And these gaps might offer limited trading opportunities, which is why I suggested you stay away from them. When you're going to do these gap analysis, you got to employ some technical indicators, though, like volume. High volume on the gap day can confirm the strength of the move, and moving averages as well. I always employ these. Fast moving averages, like crossing a slower one in the direction of the gap, can reinforce a trend. So if you're using the 8, the 9, or the 10, as well as, you know, that 20 or whatever people are using these days. So it looks like I got filled there on huge.
I am hugely happy for you.
Thank you, Adara. I do appreciate it. I packed my patience on this bad boy. So it did work up to 35, and I didn't wet my beak. So I'm sad about that, but we're going to put 36s in come what may, okay? Get it, Adara.
Finally, okay.
Adara's printing up a storm over there.
Yeah, long TQs. Yeah, sorry.
No.
I'm just long TQs. Got long on that VWAP break. Really, yeah, this was pretty nerve-wracking. Like I said, I have not had a single positive trade today, but I like this TQ break, and if you believe in something, you cannot give up on it. Confidence, have the confidence. Should have had more confidence that first Lily breakdown, but man, you got to keep on going. When the going gets tough, the tough keep working harder. I think there's a real saying, but I don't care because I just said that one. But lesson time too.
Nice,
People
Adara.
also
I'm
learn
happy
lessons.
for you.
Thank you. I'm pretty happy right now as well.
I want to read out something quickly here before we go back to the lesson. Paul, I looked for this on my blotter and I didn't see it, but thank you for putting it in the chat. Paul says, Apple News. Foxconn hires 50,000 more workers as Apple boosts
a lot of people.
iPhone 16 production. I can't vouch for that. I don't see it on mine, but thank you for putting that in. Make sure you are verifying these news items. Thank you for putting that in, though. I didn't see it. All right, so going back to the lesson over here, we're talking about these technical indicators. You got to use your faster moving averages as well as your intermediate ones. And what you're looking for here is the direction of where it's pointing as well as the crossovers, okay? The execution of the gap strategy, if there's a gap up, so there's 2 types here. We're going to exhaustion gaps and the breakaway gaps for the gaps up. So if the gap up is an exhaustion gap, you can consider buying at the gap fill level or slightly below. For the breakaway gap, you can consider shorting with a tight stop above the gap. If it's a gap down and it's an exhaustion gap, you can consider shorting at the gap fill level or slightly above. For breakaway gaps that gap down, you can consider buying with a tight stop below the gap. These are all counter trend trades, and I personally wouldn't execute these. I'd like to go in the direction of the trend, but there's a whole school of thought that likes to take mean reversion trades, so have at it. Last type of trading strategy we're going to talk about here are trading these price patterns post earnings. So the strategy here, what we're trying to do is identify potential price patterns that form immediately after the earnings release. And so we can look at things like pattern recognition for, well, you've got to be really good at pattern recognition in order to see these. So you're looking for like flags or pennants, whether bull or bear. You're looking for head and shoulders, whether inverse or regular, triangles, descending, ascending, equilateral, whatever the case is, whatever type of pattern you can identify, look for it subsequent to earnings. You don't see anything, don't execute on a price pattern play, okay? So you're trying to do pattern recognition as the first step here. If you recognize a pattern, then the next step is you go to the volume analysis. You're going to look for increased volume during the pattern formation, which can strengthen the potential breakout or breakdown, goes both ways. And then your execution here is important as well. You want to enter trades based on the pattern that you're seeing. And we did an entire week on this where we outlined a lot of the different more common patterns, and we showed you where to enter, where to exit, where to put your stop. So if you want to have like that kind of lesson, go to the YouTube homepage for Trader TV, search in price power or chart patterns, and then you'll see our week lesson on that Adair and I did. With respect to your risk management here for the price pattern entry, you're using stop loss orders and take profits to manage risk, obviously. So again, go back to that price pattern chart pattern, excuse me, lessons that we did, and you'll see exactly where to get in and get out, guys. So that's the lesson for the day. Kind of light. We'll definitely, come on, look at this again, Adara.
That's really is
2 times in a row now. It's done that to me, Adara. 2. That's it, huge. That's it. You're on my you-know-what list. Armando Zapata. NVIDIA rejecting every time it touches the 100 EMA on the 5-minute chart. That's not actually a level, an indicator I use, Armando, but let's load it up just for you. So here it is. Here's NVIDIA. I use the 10, the 20, the 50, and the 200. The 200 is the blue one, okay, which is kind of the least important of the bunch. So this is, you said, the 100 on the 5. So I'm going to put the 100 just for you. So we're going to go EMA, and we're going to exponential moving average, and we're going to change this bad boy to 100 periods. Not 90, 100 periods there. That's not going to cut it.
That's not going to work.
No, that's not good. So what color is this 100 period so I can kind of know? This one is a weird color. We're going to put it purple because I'm feeling purplish. All right, here we go. So I don't see it actually coming into the one. So I'm assuming you're using simple moving averages because the exponential is at 105.15. So let me know, Armando. Are you using the exponential or are you using simple? Let me know and I'll have a look at that one in a bit. For now, though, I'll take it off. Let's have a look at what else is moving. So Apple, very consolidative. Get it, Adara. Very consolidative at this level, holding 214.5, though, looking like it's weaseling its way possibly back up to 215. But there does seem to be price action support at 214.5. Interesting look there. Let's zoom back out. Everything really curling up here. We're above 18.5 again. So I don't know what Dan the Man Emmons, how he feels about the future at this point. Dan, I'd love your input because we're still negative on the day, though. So I can't completely see why you're still short, but working our way back into 18.525 here. Are we, Adair?
Yo, I was seeing that in the chat as well with regards to my TQ long, right? People were like, oh, like, we are down in the day. I recognize that, but I was weirdly, and I know this is going to sound bizarre, but I find that it really helps me in terms of if I have a right direction on the Qs. I feel like I always have a better read in the SPY. Whether or not I can trade it appropriately is another story, but I'm way more confident in my read in the SPY than I am on the NASDAQ or the Qs. And so with the SPY, like I said, that 530, I tried to take that breakdown a couple times. SPY was like, no. But the other level that was interesting for it was 530.30s and then at 530.50s. So 530.50s, which was also kind of in confluence with VWAP, we're kind of chopping and trading around that. So I figured if we could decisively break above that, TQs were doing something kind of similar around those levels. So I said if we can get the breakdown out for both of those, I'd like that. I'm cool staying in this trade. We have that move up in both of them. And so I was like, yeah, okay, cool, stay in this trade. Got out part here at that 96 resistance, got out, added at 90s, which was honestly a little bit scary for me, just not like this is a massive business, but just because of the amount of risk. Like I said, decisions, the thing is too, is I'm not even displeased at any of the trades from this morning either. They just didn't work out, right? So you got to readapt. 50 told me, go ahead, switch the style up. If they hate, let them hate. Watch the money pile up. Right now, not much money is piling up, but took my first 2 sets of profit in the day here. If we keep bouncing off 90s, I will be adding back in to the TQs as we continue to get this chop and churn into 58s. Am I aware that we're still down in the day? Well, me and also the markets? Yeah, sure. Am I aware that the SPY just rejected 531s? Absolutely. But right now, the balance, the evidence is telling me, Adara, you could stay in this trade right now. And honestly, I think the biggest thing is believing in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one's going to do that for you. You have to have that confidence, the Obi-confidence, the Neilage. And speaking of those last two, if you want them.
How about the main one here?
Confidera, yeah, shout out to Darwin in the chat for Confidera. But that's what I'm trying to say. Like, regardless of whatever fancy fun pun you want to use for it, believing in yourself is like the key ingredient. And that's why I'm a little bit disappointed I didn't go for that Lily short at 900, because I had it called out and I didn't have the guts to take it. But, had the guts to stay in this TQ short. If we break down here below 86s, which is where I started this position, yeah, okay, we're going to have to get out here. So lost a little bit on the last part of the position there. Pretty small piece. Please just punch with what I did. We keep bouncing off. I'll start a new position, because that's what you got to do with these markets. But you know what you have to do as a member of Trader TV Live, if you'd like to, is vote. ! Join. Space. $. Whatever ticker you like. Maybe it is the SPYs. Maybe it's the TQs. Maybe it's the Qs. Maybe it's EWIM. Am I looking at my side charts? Probably. What about Huge? What if you want to know about Sharif's awesome trade there on Huge? Also, yeah, but anyways, guys, vote. But also, I know you were like upset that Huge wouldn't fill you, but you realize you have like weird luck when these stocks like have those halts to the downside. So I feel like, if that sometimes they don't fill you, but also there was that time, there's at least twice where stocks have halted to the downside and you've gotten out before. So
yeah, I think that was just lucky, though. I got to tell you the truth on that
one. It's happened twice as a coincidence.
All right.
Twice, I'm like,
I think you would, Dara. Look, I wet my beak there at 35.5. I'm happy with this trade. We're done this trade, obviously. But we'll keep looking. That 36 penny area's got a lot of resistance around it, multiple topping tails. But I'm in a new trade now. I'm in Upstart. No, I'm kidding. Sorry about that. Smicky. I got weird ways.
Your friend Smicky.
I know, different individual.
I like it. It works.
I'm in here, Adara, because we're at the volume weighted average price. We had a bottoming tail candle that did breach 36. It was bought up immediately, and we ended up closing above VWAP at that level. So I said to myself, well, that looks kind of bullish. I mean, obviously it's up 6.5. It comes down into VWAP. It does a bottoming tail candle into that 36, and then it gets bought up. I'm still waiting for the bid to come in. We're long 38s. We're 5 pennies in the money. It means absolutely nothing. I'm waiting to see if we can get something a little bit more, not parabolic, but directional here. I'm risking 30 pennies, okay? So if this thing dips below the volume or below 36, I'm out. That's going to be the end of the trade there. And good, nice knowing you. UPST. So we're going to pack our patience to see what we can get, and we will not get upset. All right, here we go. I'm looking back at Apple again because it's just been, I don't know. Personally, I just think it's stronger than the bunch on the day, but it's kind of doing this possible head and shoulders type thing. We've seen this on Apple before, where it's set up this weird looking head and shoulders pattern where the right shoulder seems to be doing all the work and the left shoulder is just kind of like never trained. But anyway, if we reject 215, okay, if we come up into that 215 area and then come back down and drop on a closing basis below 214.5, I'm going to take this short aggressively with size because this has been setting up this way a bunch. It's been a very nice directional day for Apple on the day, but I just still have my bias that until the fall comes, we're going to whiffle and waffle right now. And besides, think about it this way too. Like, we haven't even seen anything in terms of Apple's intelligence yet. Like, no. So, again, I don't want to bet against Apple because anybody who's familiar with the company knows that they're excellent at executing. But the fact of the matter is we still haven't seen anything. That's number one. Number two, we got some wins yesterday telling us possibly that they may charge for Apple Intelligence $10 to $20 for certain features. Sounds good on paper, right? Because it's going to increase your service revenue, and their service revenue is growing faster than everything else. Sounds good. However, sit down and think about it a bit more. Could this pay for services you basically hinder the upgrade cycle? So if you know, for example, that you got to fork over $20 a month or whatever it's going to be every month, are you as inclined to want to upgrade as quickly? So a lot of unanswered questions still on the dead one at the moment. So we're gonna pack our patience with this one. This is more of a I'm holding it till next spring kind of trade. Everybody know, well, not everybody, but most people know that I'm holding this in my personal account. So I just want to, yap a little bit about that, Adara, because I always have things to say about it.
Yapple about Apple.
Yapple about Apple. All right, here we go. Upstart. We're printing on Upstart, baby. Okay, so we're 30 pennies in the money here on Upstart. Let's go, Upstart. Get started, baby. I want a 37 touch. There seems to be an area of resistance at around 37.
Yeah, there's some resistance in this here market period. I was trying to do a fun little pairs trade at the TQs of the SPY. The SPY broke above 531. It did not work on the SPY. I risked like 10 pennies. Like I said, there's really, not a ton of risk here. But the TQs, I'm standing by. Because the TQs still chilling here at 57.90s. If we get into honestly, like I said, guys, I really could not risk much. So if we break decisively below the 90s in any way, I'm getting out. Smallish position. But the thing is, too, is if you believe in the trade, you have to go for it. Like my thing is, and I've said this before, sometimes when my back's against the wall, in life and in the markets, that's what I really push harder. And I'm like, hey guys, I got back up. So get up 10. Shout out to Cardi B. I already sang Cardi B earlier today. Fall 9 times when I get up 10. So trying to do that here. Generally a decent trading week with the exception of today. And you know what? Like that's what the aggressive journaling's for. So let's figure out what happened there. I'm going to have to get out there. We got below 80s. Please just punch with that. Will likely not be able to get into any trades unless the stock is screaming at me, trade me please. But I'm also like, given the level of tired today, probably should not be hopping into anything unless it's screaming at me either. So please just punch with that. Good. I mean, I'm not, honestly, like we lots of journaling to do, as I said. But this will be an interesting note here. Shout out to you though. I'm very happy with you. You've killed it today. You got started up at Upstart. Awesome day. And the thing is, I appreciate you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, last week was a solid week. Generally, this week was pretty solid. Happy I took some risks. And the thing is, if you don't risk it, you're not going to learn. Like I would have been upset had I not tried that Lily, and I'm mad I wasn't trying more Lily. I think that was the issue. So just got to keep on going, keep on pushing, keep pressing higher. The question is, will a new phone be worth it? Says Rivian Millionaire. Yeah. I feel like maybe we'll have to wait and see, right? I finally got like an SE after months and months.
Yeah, but you realize you're the exception here a little bit.
My friend always calls me a Luddite. It was like the whole anti-technology thing. Yeah. She's like, because if I could do anything by hand, I will do it by hand, with the exception of like writing. So anyways, but yeah, that's a good point there. Gonna move higher, lower here in the TQs, lower in the SPY there. Let's see what else is going on in these little markets. Is there anything else you guys are looking at? Because you guys can vote as well. If you want to go exclamation point, join space, $, whatever tickers your fancy. But also you can let us know, because like I said, I will be looking at some names for some people for sure. I'm very open to do that because I'm just waiting for some opportunities to set up here. Crowd actually on my side chart, and I did not crowd into this one, but this is an interesting little look here. Also, someone was saying in the chat, it's because I wore red and green today, so the market can't make up its mind. I would say this is pink. I would say this is more pink than red.
It's reddish. Yeah, it's more pink though. I agree with you, yeah.
It's lightish red, says Fabian. I know yesterday Obi was talking about clothing confluence with the market or whatever, or clothfluence as I called it in the chat. But yeah, I mean, because yesterday we're green, market was up. The day before we're red, market's down. Today we're green and pink, and the market's like, oh. But yeah, crowd trying to break red in the day. Speaking of red, but higher low, nice wick bottom into 240.20s. If this breaks down, I think it'll be spicy. But right now it's trying to break higher. SPY, really? Now you go up? It's all good, baby. It's not all a dream. It never is in trading, but you learn, you grow, you keep pushing harder. And honestly, like I said, if I see stuff that sets up, I will take the trade. Like you know what I mean? I'd rather go out fighting than go out with a bang, but with a whimper or whatever. I don't know. What are you looking at?
I've done my Upstart trade. I was able to take 40 pennies on that. Thank you, Adara. We took the VWAP hold at that level, but I did pack my patience. I was not quick just to get into the VWAP once it touched it, because look, it consolidated for a little bit. It wasn't until this candle here, this is the candle that sold it for me. It dipped below 36, got bought up quick as you like. It did dip right there into 91s, and then it ended up closing right at or slightly below the volume weighted average price, followed by a green candle, followed by a subsequent green candle to make a new high. And as you can see, we're working our way higher than where I got out. As per usual, I'm angry as a trader because you should be holding on to more size. Hopefully that ends up changing, but there it is. Looks like we're working our way into 37. I thought that, I had an initial bias to wet my beak at 37s because of these two candles right there that were both kind of topping tailish, showing you that there was a bit of a seller at the whole $37 level. So we'll see if this one can keep working its way up. Guys, I'm hearing that MGOL is back and it just finished unhalting. Let's check the one. Was it halted? Yes, it was. Okay, so I'm a little late to the party and I do apologize about that. Yes, it did halt about half an hour ago. I didn't see that. I do apologize. Halted at 550, weaseled its way back down, did a hell of a job holding 5 1/5, and that was as bad as we could do on that move down, because then back up into 5 4/5 now that's the local high. The high a day actually obviously is that opening print, $6.23, but it was a very good recovery. I'm not going to use any sort of indicators with this one, at least not on the one. Let's flip to the 5 and see if there's any respect here for any of these indicators. Well, a little bit. Not enough for me to want to base anything off it. So it's going to be book or price action, resistance and support, because this is zigging and zagging every which way. It's above, it printed above the pre-market high, then it failed the pre-market high, and it absolutely went down. For whatever reason, held 4 2/3, 4 3/4, and then now it's right back into that 580. So very hard to trade, and it's without a catalyst, I should mention. We didn't have a catalyst on this yesterday. I still don't have a catalyst for it today. So yeah, that's the situation, up 52% and change. Let's keep looking over here. What else we got? So Upstart rejecting. So happy I got out of that. What's the Mag 7 up to? Uh-oh. Apple headed right back to the upside again, breaking through 215, 215 and a quarter. The dead one is awoken again, Adara.
Awaken the dead one.
It's maybe weaseling its way up into 215 3/4. That is the high of the day. I was, again, I'm short buy. I have biases on the day. I don't always act upon them. I was possibly looking for a head and shoulders there. This latest move up into the $0.25 kind of has me rethinking that, as that's going to be a gnarly looking shoulder if that is actually a head and shoulder. So I don't think I'm looking for that anymore. Now, Apple 0.9%, looking to go 1. Tesla now is awakening again. It put in that low into 195, and since that time, it's doing quite well up into 198. Still, though, below that 199 closing print yesterday, but above that volume-weighted average price at 197.50. So Tesla, I'm not inclined to trade Tesla on the day, and I gotta tell you, I'm not really interested in any of these Mag 7 names, saving except for Apple and Meta. They've been the directional ones, and I haven't had a trade in Meta. I've had an Apple, and I'm negative on it. Funny enough, despite the fact I had more winning trades on Apple than losing, but I'm negative on Apple. We'll see if we can change that as the day goes. Not much for me at this moment here as we work our way into 1 o'clock a day.
Shout out to you for having more winning trades than losing ones, though. Seriously, that's awesome.
Still negative on it, though.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Well, not negative on the day, but negative on Apple.
I'm negative on the day, so you got to do what you got to do. Shout out to you there, Sharif. TQs, I tried to take the long here, 58.10s, because I noticed we'd get up, we'd pause at the 5-cent level, we'd pop higher.
Rivian.
Didn't really work at this particular break. We get to 58.10s, we pop into 58.16s. I was like, woo, dope. I'll add if we bounce again. Nah, no. Didn't really work. Lost like 2 pennies in this. I don't know where the next trade is. I don't know if there is a next trade. I don't mean that dramatically. I just mean there's very little risk left here. And I want to clarify, there are no trades that I've taken today that I am like, what is that life choice? What is wrong that I dislike the trade? Do you know what I mean? Every trade I took today, I had reasons for taking it. It made sense to me. I handled it appropriately. You know what I mean? Sometimes things just doesn't work out. The timing's wrong, whatever. No excuses. You just got to go back to the drawing board, figure out what happened, figure out what wasn't the vibe. And I think some of it, especially in the SPY, especially, bad pun, it might have been just me thinking this 530 level had to break down. I tried this short a couple times, did not work out. Like, I've honestly had very few positive trades today, and all of them have been on the TQs, right? So sometimes things don't work. You got to keep pushing. However, if I were to take another trade here, because like I said, the risk here, it would have to be pretty tight. I don't dislike Palantir as a short, and I say that very hesitantly. Keep in mind, I didn't even say I love it. I said I don't dislike it. I would want some more confluence, and I would want multi-time frame confluence, but Palantir here, I don't know. We get into that 30, what is this, 30s. We push up violently, get near that 30-20s, high of day 30-20, push back down. Now we're below the 90 MA. It looks like we could be forming a bit of a Christmas tree retracement on Palantir. Now, we have bottoming tail candles. We have it on every time frame, and honestly, it looks more bullish the more you go back. So I would not be getting involved in this unless we have like a decisive break back down. I'd be curious to see a retest of that 30 and a rejection. But honestly, like I said, this would be really small position. And also the other level to me that concerns me beyond that 30s popping back up is what we're doing here at 29.85s. Look at that resistance, which formed to support, which then formed to support on a wick basis. I'm not getting involved in this anywhere near this 30. If we get to 29.85s and we reject, and I decide, okay, cool, go for it, very small position, tight risk, that could be the vibe. But let's wait and see what happens here with these here markets. Worst day ever, says Joanna Brewster. Hopefully not for your P&L. I think definitely the markets have been harder. And honestly, I understand, like I said, this day has not been my day. Not shut down, but it's a near thing. And I think even sometimes, even if you believe in the trades, because like I said, there were no trades here that I disliked that I took. It's just sometimes the timing isn't right. You don't have the right read on the market. You got to go sip from one of your many beverages of various degrees of caffeine. Maybe have a Monster Energy and just, again, not sponsored by them, and just keep going, keep pushing higher, and get just find other opportunities if they exist, and if they don't, keep going. Case in point, I was like Palantir could be a bit of a short here for break below 30s, but the multi-time frame confirmation was like, oh, it's a long. Palantir popped back here into 30s. So sometimes don't go, first thought is not always the best thought. Patience, waiting, and as I said, to paraphrase Perks of Being a Wallflower, we accept the trades we think we deserve. So I'm only looking for A+ trades that, want to give me time.
Hey, I like how you set that up.
How are you
That was
doing?
actually pretty good. Well, I just sat down, so let's have a look at what we're doing over here. What are you guys looking at in the chat? Throw me some stuff. I'm seeing everybody talk about they're sitting on their hands. Come on, guys. It's Friday. I'm sure there's some trades we can have. John H. is sipping whiskey. I hope it's after 5 o'clock or whatever.
I think they're trying to guess what's in my cup. It's tea in one and coffee in the other.
You're not a big drinker. I've seen you have drinks, but you're not much like a heavy drinker.
Not particularly, no. I have like certain things I enjoy and lots that I don't enjoy. And
Okay.
It's kind of,
all right.
yeah.
That's good.
But,
Yeah, all right. Let's have a look there. Adira is double fisting. Yeah, she's double fisting tea and coffee. Not the other kind of double fisting, you guys. All right. No, not that.
yeah, like shots, yeah. I knew what you were.
And Patty didn't help either, like
He did
giggling
not.
at the back.
He let out a guffaw. He let out a guffaw. I was gonna say the way
Patty,
that sounded was
Patty. Okay, Eddie, we're done with that conversation. I don't want to give him fodder in the chat. There he is. BPI, Big Patty Ice, baby. One of my favorite people on the dang floor. One of the hell of a guy. Everybody knows who he is. He is the Mara indicator. He indicates Mara, so shout out to him. Vic Van Novak, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Paul Milligan, no, Paul. No, Paul. All right, Apple's putting in a hell of a rounded bottom over here, if I can show them this, Fabian, because this is beautiful. So we get into that 214.5, guys, and we really do find a good area of support there. We're still not even close to high day. That's about, another 40 pennies or so, 215 and a third. We're breaking through this top, though. Great strength on the dead one today as it goes up 0.94. Looking to go higher. Well, again, we already showed you the half-an-hour chart, and my analysis on this stays the same. This closing print over here, at 215 and a third, we already breached it, but that's where we're at right now. This closing print from the 2nd, that is Friday, before we dumped on the Monday. 213 and a third, between that 215 and a third, excuse me, between that 215 and a third and the high there, 225 of that day, we have a bit of a gap. So, not saying Apple clears this, but we have price action, a chasm, price action chasm. Is that a thing? I'll make it a thing. Anyway, Meta, the other very strong one on the day. I made this point. Apple and Meta both look like they're in play for the longs. Meta right back above the volume weighted average price, looking to weasel its way back into that 513, 514 area held. Generally, the volume weighted average price, you did have a double bottom here that did breach and probably pushed a lot of people out. This 1220, 1225 candle broke VWAP by some distance, getting to about 510 and a quarter there. Let's flip back into some of these other small cap gappers. Oh, baby, MGOL going again. It's up to 5 3/4, holding the volume weighted average price. MGOL is awoken, and I was saying I may not or will not use any moving averages or other technical indicators on this, more price action and book reading, but this respect for the 10 exponential is standing out at me here, so we could possibly get into something like that. Not much else for me to look at here. Upstart's right back down, so I'm kind of happy I took that trade out, even though this one could continue to curl a dare because it's not breaking down through VWAP, but it's not quick to reascend either, so keeping an eye on that. Joya Patel says MGOL to C8, okay. Joya Patel Damas over here. We'll see if MGOL can weasel its way through 6. It certainly had trouble with 6 Joya, even though it was able to get into 6 1/4. The closing prints there all below 6. But yeah, good call out on you. Let's look at the 30-minute here on MGOL. What's it look like? There's no way it looks like that. MGOL's a, hold on, what? No, oh, it's a pre-split. That's why I don't have data. Okay. So this one split 1 to 10. Okay. Looks like a reverse split 1 to 10. Anyway, okay, we'll keep tabs on that. No, we're not breaching at the moment. What is everybody else looking at? SPY, Hamster One's pumped about that. Aska says EXFY. Let's go. I did have that on here. Yes, there it is.
XFI.
There, it's holding VWAP, but it's not doing a whole lot there, my man. Aska, it's holding the volume weighted average price by about 3 pennies. This one had its best days, like the best move today from 9:30 to about 10:45. Become awfully consolidative since that time. Yeah, not much else for me to look at. What are you guys looking at here? Roaring on 20s, bro. It was a crazy time. All right, nice.
Probably in response to something, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Sharif Adera, now you guys got to watch the movie. Ricky Stenicki.
Oh, I heard that was good with like John Cena. It's like on Amazon Prime. I think it's like they like blamed everything on like their imaginary friend and he's real or something. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I forget what or something. I don't remember. Okay. I know it was something to do with like their imaginary friend. I think I'm pretty sure.
I'll give it.
But I heard it was funny, and I think Neil maybe has mentioned it. I wanted to see it. Apparently, it works for like what it is, like a comedy. I've heard it's good for that.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's good. Let's keep looking over here. See what everybody else is talking about. Juan Alejandro Castillo, Sharif, Spain kicking France's butt in the Olympics, Olympic finals, just like the Euros. They did it in the Euro. No, Spain beat France, obviously, in the Euros. It looks like France is beating Spain, kicking France's butt. So they're happening again because Spain did kick their butt. So let's go Spain versus France. What is the score? All right. What is the score? 3-1 right now. It's 3-1 at the break right now. So who scored for, we'll check that out after. What else is being talked about here? Gorev, CMG, consolidating at VWAP where it bounced in the morning. Also potential resistance turning to support. Love how you're talking about that, Gorev. Shout out to you, my man. Love to hear the TA. Let's have a look at CMG for my man Gorev. Fabian, can we show the chart? Let's look at this. So yes, we are consolidating at that volume. Let me flip to the 5-minute over here on this bad boy. There is CMG. It looks like it's holding between the 50 and VWAP here. Very tight consolidation, Gorev. And I would worry about some sort of collapse below that 55 and a third to kind of manifest a possible head and shoulders. I'm not saying this is a head and shoulders pattern. I'm just saying, that there is a gnarly break through that $56 area that sold off aggressively. CMG, not a bad look, but yeah, let me know if this one breaks above or below. There could be a trade to be had on this Adara.
Yeah, like I said, I think there are some opportunities. But there's no way in which I'm getting involved in anything unless it's screaming at me, Adara, trade me, because like I said, the thing is too is I want to clarify that I'm down on the day, but every trade I took made sense. I had levels on it. Sometimes things just do not work out, and you have to assess that. You have to come back, breathe in, and breathe out. You know what I mean? You try stuff, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Some shots maybe you shouldn't have taken, but in this case, there's not one trade today that I'm like, that was a horrible choice. You know what I mean? There's no trade today that I am deeply displeased with. Good. So I think that's something. Even Lily, I'm really happy I tried that because that short would have worked out any other time. I guess the timing was just not right, but sometimes you just gotta keep going, kind of keep pushing and waiting for the next day or the next trade. And you guys know, there have been times where I close to shut down, not a great day. And if I see something, I'll go after it. Go hard or go home within reason, right? And one thing I like that I'm not getting involved in yet because I'm not 100% sure is this IWM. Look at these logs. I was looking at this a while ago. We were bouncing off the 90 MA and that previous resistance here. Oh, it was farther back. It was around here. And I didn't take it around 205.40s. And it was come on, Adara. That was clearly that was the setup, right? So just making sure you make decisions that make sense. I said the word make way too many times there, but you gotta make the right decisions for you. And IWM here, we just saw, we got back to that 206s. We bounced beautifully. I like 206.15s, not just because it's VWAP, though that helps, but I've liked what we've done with 206.15s in the book. We cleared it pretty nicely, came back. Now we're trying to bounce. That being said, this pattern to me around VWAP does look a little bit choppy and churny. I want to see more clarity. I want to see decision before I make a decision on this stock, which is named the Russell 2000. Let's take a look at this. Zach Griffith saying, I can easily hear that this week, been on the wrong side all week long. Sometimes you are, you know what I mean? And the thing is too, is like, you just gotta go back to the drawing board, do some aggressive journaling. And the thing is, like, you can't be too hard on yourself. And I say this as someone who actually, I know I have a very positive front, but I take things very seriously. And Sharif and I have commented on this as well. Like, I do take things.
Everything, not just trading.
Everything.
Yeah.
I take life very seriously. Yeah. And I want to show to Sharif because he's kind of like talking me through this and everything. You know, you can take stuff seriously, but you also have to have time to, like, you know, breathe. And you can't be too hard on yourself because there are things that are just not going to be your fault or that you can't control.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You just got to, like, go back. Like, did it make sense for me? Did I follow my plan? I still remember that time that I was trying to short NVIDIA when it broke 500 the first time. And I was, like lost on the trade. But and Obi was like, did you manage it appropriately? And I said, yeah. And he's like, well, then it wasn't really a losing trade. And I think that's what, like, as long as you stick to your plan, you do what you're trying to do. And I can say I have done that. So all good times there. We're going to stop waxing poetic. But get in that chat. Oh, okay, me to LO, the rinse button is like giving me a little bit of sass. That's fine. But if you want to get in that chat and vote, if you have any tickers you want to look at, please feel free to do so. If you want to hear what Neil and Obi have to say, maybe you would like a sick Amazon trade that you want to talk about. I know Obi was in the Amazon earlier, and there was lots of chat in the chat. There's a lot of chatter about Amazon. But yeah, if there's like anything you want to look at, get in that chat, ! join, space, $, whatever tickers your fancy. IWM still interesting to be at 206.15. I need this to resolve, but man, if this bounces off 206.15 cleanly, I actually am okay going along this, like, briefly tight risk, but I'm very tempted by what's happening here with this potential resolution at this level. What do I think about SoFi, says Tony Price. Also, shout out to everybody in the chat right now. And I'm sorry to hear, like, a lot of people had a rough week, but I am happy for this community because we can all come in here, talk about it together, and you know, figure out what happens. Because the thing is, you feel, I'm sure, I'm very lucky as well to be on this floor, but I know it can definitely be more of an isolating activity trading. So it's awesome to have this community. Tony Price, I will be honest, SoFi is one that I always have a harder time reading because it moves a little bit barcodey. But I think, for lack of a better term, there is some support here, though, at 657. Then we get a higher low here at 662. The thing I would be aware of for SoFi is there's definitely some resistance, a bit of, like, I don't want to say flat bottom break because it wasn't necessarily, but there was some clear double top-ish action happening at in between 670 and 671, so like 675, 670.05, I guess, with these actually higher lows on a wick basis, flat top on a closing basis than we Huadunk. Let's take a look here at the daily chart as well for Tony Price to see if there's any Tony Prices that we want to look at on SoFi. Okay, so the daily chart does not want to. Okay, RIP SoFi. SoFi said, so buy. So
how do you come up with them so quickly? That's the thing.
I don't know. I just really like wordplay. I really like puns, and I think thank you. My brain just, like, I guess, enjoys doing that. So good times there. Yeah, and I think being here to, like, you again, like, we're doing a show. We want to be entertaining. So we want to always come up with stuff to keep the conversation going as well, right? So I think that helps. SoFi here. If I can get this daily chart. Okay, I apologize, Tony Price, but yeah, I still think that okay, we got the daily chart. Perfect. Okay, I was just about to, like, be like SoFi. No. Okay, so we're kind of at a bit of an area here that could be interesting. This was our there you got it. The first pushback of the day. Yeah. Look at that 666. Oh, that's cursed. 666, where we're trading actually right now in SoFi. Flat bottom, lower high, lower high, lower high. Kudunk on the daily chart. Come back, circle back, come back down. Now we're back at 666. We're below the 90 MA. Look at all these topping tail candles. I'd be very cautious here of this level here on SoFi in combination or in confluence with a resistance at 671 on the 5-minute chart. Also, I really appreciate this comment from Mr. Longshorts. I want to talk about that soon, but also we have a lesson, and I want to hear what you're trading before we get into all that.
Absolutely, and I want to remind everyone to join us on the afternoon segment by voting for your favorite stock. We got Obi in today for Sean all week. He's going to give you his look on whatever stock you guys decide. The top 5 make it onto the board. So bully your friends, twist their arm, pull their ear, whatever you need to do, get them to vote your way. I know it's virtually pull their ear, of course.
Violence.
Yeah, violence, I know, right? Oh, violent person here. Sorry, guys.
No,
seriously, though. Throw it in the chat, guys. We want to see exactly what you guys want to vote for, and then we're going to have Neil and Obi look at it for you. So get into the chat and have your say every day. All right, I'm looking at Apple because we just got into the high of day. On the dead one, we got into 70, the high of day 74, and now we're coming back in a little bit into the $0.50. Is this as good as Apple can do on the day? I'm seeing a topping tail candle come in on the future as well, minuscule, but topping tail nonetheless. Here comes Apple breaking through the $0.50 again. So it looks as if there's gonna be an area rejection right now at that $0.75 area, right back above the $0.50. Again, we go. Is this a buy the dip kind of area on the dead one? Or is this as good as we're going to get? We're negative on the day on Apple because I've been trading it like a buffoon, but you know, it doesn't mean that I have to give up here. So a nice little gnarly move down again into that, up into the mid $0.50 here as we start knocking the door of the 60s. So what do we do here? There, okay, so I'm going to go along, see what we'll get. Oh, and it's not even letting me in. It's leaving without me here. Let's see if it comes back down and
How
fills
dare it
me.
leave without you?
There, we got filled there. So we got 61. So we're going to go ahead now and set up the beak wetter. We'll see if we can get something in and around the high of day first and foremost, and then we'll set up our outs for that. So we're seeing if we can move up here on Apple on this little pullback. I think I'm just going to give this to the bottom of this consolidation area over here, or sorry, the low of this area here for breaks 45s. I'm going to be Gonzino on this one. So here we go. We'll put that, and then we'll set that up. All right, what else is moving over here? I saw NVIDIA just took VWAP. Here we go. So it just broke VWAP. Look, it's broke VWAP a couple of times on the day. All of them have been false breaks. Here's the first one, 1010, false break. Second one over here, 1050, false break. And now we have the third of the day. Well, the first one of the day was obviously on the opening print, but I don't count that because of the volatility. It's now gone positive. Barely, though. 104.96 is positive. It's having all sorts of trouble above 105, which is the break-even point on the day for NVDA. So we'll see if this one can continue to move up. The market just got into local highs there near that 18,575. It is not the high of the day. That high of the day came in at 4 a.m. when we got into 18,651. So it's 18,650 essentially with which we need to contend. We did have on the NQ September contract some resistance at around 7 o'clock at that 18.6 as we really tried to take it, but the future is squeezing. The future is squeezing, and we just got printed on the dead one. All right, very good there, so happy with that. Finally, we get revenge on Apple, and we can see if we can move up a little bit here as we approach 18.6 right now, looking for something around 216 again. You know, there is a bit of a chasm in the price action between that 213, 214, however you charted it, and that 225, the high of Friday before that huge tank that we got in on MONDAY. I don't know why I spelled that out, Adara. No idea, really, why that happened that way, but apparently I like to spell. So here we go. Up into the 80s we go, taking my profits there on Apple as the future knocking on the door of 18.6. Open up 18.6. We're moving up aggressively here midday on the NQ September contract. All the Mag 7 names are benefiting from this move up. Everything now pointing to the up direction as opposed to the consolidative look that we had on a lot of their names, even the Zon above VWAP, Microsoft above VWAP, Goggles, Tesla, even Tesla. Tesla's been awfully weak. It's also positive. Are we positive on all the Mag 7s? Only Goggles holding us back right now, down 3/4. Everything else in Positiveville at the moment. Let's see. Here is 18.6. Do we reject 18.6? Lots of strength in the future right now, but that could absolutely change. This is a critical level that we're at right now, the 100-point level. I always chart these 100-point levels, but it is 5-1, 18.651, which is the overnight high. We're pumping up a storm here. So unabated to the quarterback, or whatever they used to say before they stopped saying that in the NFL.
Unabated to the quarterback, to the QQQ court. You know what I mean? Quarterback.
I love it, love it. Always doing great there. I love it. Oh, I thought that was a sound effect. I'm like, Fabian's getting real creative here. Look at Apple. I'm such a bad trader. I'm such a dumb trader. It just blew through 216 into a fifth. Oh my God. All right, so right idea, poor execution. What else is new?
Is the sound still happening? Is that
I don't
right?
know, man. I thought that was Fabian playing a thing, and it ended up being some. I think we're doing construction outside.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
What?
Also,
Snaking the pipes, Neil.
Pipe things. Good times.
Got it.
Also, this is interesting too. We had Bert in the chat saying it's interesting. A lot of people are voting for. Oh yeah, I'll read the message. Interesting. Some people are asking what tickers they're 100% going to be talking about. Anyways, that's a good point. Neil agreed as well. So guys, maybe vote for some stuff as well. If it has volume, if it has any kind of move that you want to see happen, because we've had some that have volume. Yeah. They just haven't been ones that we necessarily talk about. C-pop. Got that day that should call it C-poop that actually made the roster. We had Sirius XM one day, SIRI. So seriously, you don't have to seriously, you don't just have to vote for things that you're that you think we're going to be talked about anyway. Try to vote for something maybe if you want, your choice, of course. I'm not trying to influence anyone's voting, that you think maybe won't be discussed, because that's the whole point of this segment. Is it's an audience segment here brought to you by Real Trading. Also, I still will be getting into explaining my journal processes. Shout out to Mr. Longshorts. I just don't want to monopolize all this here time. But so I'm going to talk about the lesson first, and then I will later get into my journaling, because I do want to, and I appreciate that question. So let's talk about some real-time trading strategies for the high volatility events that are earnings. Scalping is one. So scalping is one that I love as well, and this is it involves taking small profits on rapid price fluctuations. JJJ, I said C-pop, it was a ticker, pop culture, CPOP, not CPAP, but good times.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's what he thought I said.
Device, right?
Yeah,
CPAP
right, like
device.
the CPAP sleep device.
So Apple's pumping.
Oh, Pample? Yeah, okay, good look for there. You could interrupt if there's stuff on Apple you want to.
You're good.
So strategy for scalping is going to be identifying stocks with high trading volume and volatility before earnings. And then you want to be looking at the level 2 to help with your execution. So observe the order flow imbalance. If you see a large imbalance of buy or sell orders, that can indicate some potential price movement. Time and sales are worth noting too. You want to analyze the speed and the size of the trades. A rapid increase in large buy or sell orders, that can signal a potential breakout. Also, if I may share my own scalping strategies, some scalp opportunities can show up. If you see like a book, for example, that's usually pretty fast, slow down. You kind of wick up, wick down, especially if it's going to be a whole dollar level. We test, we retest. You're seeing a little bit of we're being stagnant. If we do that, especially at a key level, you'll have more confluence. Let's say it's support, resistance level, anything like that, where you see a little bit of a slowdown in the tape. That could sometimes signify the calm before the storm. Those are sometimes scalps to take as well. Again, not advice, just my take as someone who scalps a lot and who tries to learn a little bit with every single trade. TA is also worth noting here, technical analysis. As I mentioned, right, the book is really key. What you want to see is confluence between the book and the chart sometimes. So use technical analysis, tools like moving averages, especially if you got a fast moving average. You guys know I love my 9 EMA. Shreve has his 10 EMA, I believe. So anything like that, that'll help you identify short-term trends. As a scalper, those are pretty tasty. You also want to look at your entry. So making sure you're entering trades in the direction of the identified imbalance or trend. Unless it's a counter trend scalp, again, not advocating for these, but sometimes I find those are the most successful because you have the clearest read on it. Everything's going up, and then you got a little bit of a move where it looks like it's going to crack lower. You get out. The second it breaks, like it's going to break higher, and then you get out again. Those are riskier, but I find sometimes those are the most successful because they give you clear levels. Sure. So whatever works for you. Again, not advocating for counter trend scalps, but just saying that that's one way you can play it as well. Exiting too is another thing to keep in mind. You want to use really tight stop loss orders. You guys will know sometimes they'll risk like 10 pennies or less. Like tight risk is the scalper's mindset. And you want to make sure that you're using predetermined profit targets as well to manage risk and secure profits. Also, I want to shout out, I think it was someone, Randy Hams, I believe in the chat, something like that, Handy Rams maybe. But they were saying, sometimes that like they find it helpful to use defined risk to reward. I think sometimes for scalping, that is not all, I think have an area that you want to get out, but sometimes, especially if you're book scalping, if there's anything that changes on the tape, Obi says distinctly different, and that's a phrase I understood a lot better once I started trading with the book. If you see something that is telling you, get out or stay in, listen to that within reason, but be prepared to run as well. So that is my take on that. But I do want to shout out Randy Hams or Handy Rams, whatever your name was. I think that's a good point. You have to find whatever risk strategy works for you. So let's also talk about day trading earnings gaps. So gap analysis is really important. We talked about gaps last week. And also, if you want to go back to Friday's lesson, OP prepared a really great lesson within the wild gap examples. He talked about Amazon, he talked about Intel. So all of those day one gaps, you guys go back to the Friday and hear about some of those day one earnings gaps from a week's perspective. But we talked about these last week. Breakaway gaps, they're going to be a gap up or down occurring at a new high or low, which often indicates a strong trend continuation. And so you might want to consider fading the gap, betting against it if the gap is excessively large. Within reason, right? It really depends on what your strategy is going to be, because sometimes those big gaps bounce right back up. Lilly had a huge gap yesterday, and it came down, but then when it came back to previous support, we saw that move back up.
Oh, yeah.
So just be very careful as well with these gaps. Exhaustion gap is something to note here as well. A gap that occurs at the end of a strong trend is going to be the exhaustion gap, and it's often followed by a reversal. So this could be a good entry point if you want to counter trend, trade in the opposite direction of the gap. Be aware, though, as Opie says, the reversion can be quite mean. So make sure you're trading appropriately. We always talk about risk management. And the common gap is also worth noting, because this is going to be a gap that occurs within a trading range. It's often quickly filled, and it can provide more limited trading opportunities, but you use them as support resistance levels, right? If they end up showing up on a daily chart within reason, but put the necessary amount of skepticism involved. Technical indicators are worth noting too. Volume is a huge one. If you've got high volume in the day of the gap, that can confirm there is some strength, there's some hustle, there's some intensity.
Hustle behind that muscle.
Hustle behind that muscle, hustle behind that Russell, which is like crazy strong right now too.
Yeah, we could Russell.
Moving averages are key as well. We talked about, I use the 9 EMA. Whatever moving average you use, you might want to see a faster one crossing over a slower one in the direction of the gap. That can reinforce a short-term trend, because hey, we got the short-term moving average, like, hey, it's my time in the sun. Pushing higher, that's what you want to see. Execution, though, is key for these gap trades. If you've got a gap up, like for example, an exhaustion gap, you might want to consider buying at the gap fill level or slightly below. However, if you've got a breakaway gap, you might want to consider shorting it with a really tight stop loss above the gap. Now we'll talk about gaps down. If you've got a gap, again, an exhaustion gap here, you might want to consider shorting at the gap fill level or slightly above. And for a breakaway gap, you might want to consider buying with a tight stop loss level below the gap. And for risk management, you want to maybe use stop loss orders to protect against rapid price reversals and potential gap fills. So here are some other trading price pattern strategies for post-earnings, so after you've got those earnings. And the strategy here, the key of this, the impetus of this, will be identifying potential price patterns that form immediately after the releases, because we know sometimes these earnings names like to move all wild and woolly, like, those like floating dudes outside the car dealerships after earnings season, right? That could be the price pattern sometimes. So try to be recognizing some patterns. Flags and pennants are really key. These are going to be continuation patterns, which can signal a resumption of the previous pre-earnings trend. Head and shoulders are another example too. So these are when you've got reversal patterns indicating a potential trend change. Also, they don't always work, but sometimes they do AMD on Monday. And I think sometimes too, what can show is how often are you at that level, how clean is the shoulder, and wait for that neck break. You want to see the neck break in the retest. Again, not advice.
I love
my take on head and shoulders. Okay, violence, once again. Did you hear what Sharif said,
No,
guys?
I didn't say anything.
Did you say?
What?
Did you actually say something? I can't tell now.
Yeah, I can't. I said I love breaking necks. I just tease it. We're joking. We're joking.
Well, no, make sure. Sarcasm and hearing are not two of my strongest qualities.
Yeah, well, I know.
So that's why I wanted to make sure.
My bad. Yeah.
No, it's all good. We have fun. Execution as well is really key here. You want to make sure you're entering trades based on the identified pattern and the confirmed breakout or breakdown. And there's sometimes, with regards to risk management, but also entries, it's key as well. We talked about this when we did patterns, so shout out, you can go back to those lessons of how to trade so you can learn how to trade the patterns. But sometimes there will be inherent levels where you can set your stop losses and profit takers within the setup of the pattern. So be aware of those. Those can be some opportunities too. Again, you really want to make sure that you're always doing risk management and your due diligence and practice these strategies maybe in the sim before you try them for real. Lots of cool breakout patterns here. Honestly, if I see anything I like here, like you guys know, I'm gonna go hard to go home. So within reason here, I really like what the SPY is doing at 533. That was previous resistance. IWM trying to break above its previous resistance. I'm very tempted to take a really small position here in one of these breakouts if it sets up. And I will talk about my journal strategy in a bit there, Mr. Long Shorts, but I want to hear what Sharif's doing on that Apple.
I'm finally positive on Apple, looking to defend 216, Adara. We cleared 216. It was a local area of resistance. Once we cleared it, look, we're coming down and we're defending it. I didn't get the best price. I got 9s, so we'll see what we get. If we break down below 16, the stop's already in place. so I'll just take it out there. But I was looking for a 216, generally hold topping tail candle. Now I don't want none of this, so we're taking that out. We'll look to defend right now if it was to reinstitute that level. So zigging and zagging at the moment. It's more of a scalp day for me today, especially on Apple anyway. So breaking down below 216, let's see if it continues down. So if we get a nice 216 breakdown, like a real breakdown, I'll go into the short. We're at 18,625 on the future, and I gotta tell you, 3 topping tail candles now that can't breach 625, or generally 625 area. So this is what I'm looking at right now. These candles over here, it's not coming into 625, correct me, 627. But we're talking about an 18,000 point, I don't know, what is this, instrument? Let's call it instrument. So if we give wave, look, if we topping tail in this way and then drop below 18.6, ooh, I don't know. So I'm going to pack my patience here. Let's see what we get with this one because, yeah, that's a pattern that I certainly did not like on the future. And obviously, you know, I got to keep one eye on the future, the other on Apple. Thank you, Jonathan Greenwald. I do appreciate you, my man. Thank you for that. I was only negative on one name today, and we flipped the script on that. So hopefully we'll stay that way. There's about half an hour left. It can absolutely all change. All right, another look over here. Goggles, oh baby. Goggles is at a very interesting level. Look at this topping tail, not topping tail. This area crest, right at 930. You could make the case this is the IB high. We're right there. 161. So this candle, the IB high that printed at 935 was 161.05. This candle breached that, 161.13. Look, it's still on the way up, and it's a very strong move here for goggles off that 159.50. Looking to go $2 higher than that level, but I'm all eyes and ears. I want to see, do we clear this level? We're above it technically, right? By about 8 pennies or so. So let's see if we're able to stay above it. Google could be, oh, looks like Google's going to clear it. Here we go, 17s here. Look, Tesla 200 says Neil. Thank you for Neil. Look, if we get into if we hold above this level, we can get into 162 on Google because that's the closing print. Here it is, 200 now. I got out of my Apple way too early. That was a mistake on my part. Okay, that's fine. We've learned from that. 200 now on TSLA. It also is at the IB high. That 950 print took us to $200.09. We're above it by 9 pennies, $200.18. Okay, so it looks as if the winds of change could be coming in on this market, and we could be seeing that 4 a.m. high sooner rather than later. I was assuming if we got into that high, it would likely be during power hour, but what do I know? Anyway, Tesla having trouble breaking through this IB high, but it's a very, very nice, solid recovery here. Nary a red candle on this ascent up from 1215 to 130. There is one red candle on the chart on the Tesla 5-minute chart over here. It is the one that printed at 1250, and it was a bit of a candle of indecision, a bit of a doji there with an equidistant body from the top and the bottom of the wick. So good luck for Tesla. It's going to have to hold above 200 though. That is an important level, being the $100 level, obviously. So we'll keep tabs on that. Very disappointed in how I executed this trade on Apple. I was so obsessed with wanting to be green on it that I forewent the actual proper trade. That is a mistake on my part, one that I hope not to repeat. Apple on the way up. Here it is, 216.5. There goes the $0.50, and there goes the future. We're on the way up, it looks like, into that 4 a.m. high. Good strength. Shout out to Fabian. Good strength on the market. Did we breach the 4 a.m. high? We breached the 4 a.m. high, Adara. It looks like we might be on our way to 18.7. Oh, baby. This market's pamping here. Good luck.
Yeah, I got involved in a SPY long here. It was not the SPY long I necessarily wanted. I wanted 533.30s that I just waited. I wasn't going to chase that. We get above that 534. I get involved 534.10s. Right now we're like 10 pennies in the money. I'm going to scalp out of this if I see any change in the tides. Like I said, not a lot to risk here. But if you see stuff you like, you've got to go for it. You really got to go after it here. I would love to see us break above 30s. If we break above 30s, I'd be pleased as punch. But I saw what we did at that 30 break last time. I apologize for the speed, but guys, this market has just been wild. It's been woolly. And this is what I mean. You got, like, sometimes you just got to go after things. You only got one shot. You don't miss your chance to blow. I mean, in the market, sometimes you have more than one. But shout out to Eminem, Lose Yourself. I didn't want to, I feel like I did lose myself a little bit earlier today, but not in like a fun Eminem way, like where you want to lose yourself in the music. I think I got a little bit lost in the sauce, and I didn't want to get lost in the sauce. As we break down below 40s, I'm trying to get out here. Wow, this thing is coming right back down. So I want to see here if we bounce off 20s. Let's see what's going on. Okay, we're going to have to get out there. Could have executed that a little bit better, but I had the trade I liked, and I'm happy I took it because you have to have those opportunities where you just go after it, make it or break it. I don't know if we made it, but we didn't break it. And we took that opportunity, and I would have regretted not taking it. So I think that's the key. The way we broke above this 534, I wasn't going to take just any whole dollar break. We get to 534s, we break above it gorgeously. It's beautiful. It doesn't even whiffle or waffle. I get involved on the way up there, 534.10s. I should have gotten out at 50s, or I should have been aware of that 50, but that's all good there. If we come back here, when we do around 50s, I might add back to the position. Happy I scalped out of it there. Am I pleased this punch? Not necessarily, but I'm happy with how I managed the trade. And you know what you want to do is just get a little bit better every single day. I also have eyes on IWM because IWM, the Russell 2000, has been a little bit different here. We got that pop up there with the rest of the market, but the book was not moving as excitedly as what we saw there in the SPY. So that to me is very interesting, something to be aware of, something to keep an eye on. TX Trader is saying Adair could be an auctioneer on the weekend for a side job. Maybe. I do really enjoy, I talk really quickly, but it's just naturally how I talk, and I think it comes out when I'm so excited about these markets. So I don't know if I'd be excited about stuff I'm auctioneering, but I guess we'd have to find out. Look at it dumping, says Paula. Yeah, that definitely, we get back there in the SPY and the Qs, and we come right back to the downside. Sharif's Apple, though, actually holding up quite well here. That one's still... Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. We're still Tim cooking here on the A to the A to the P to the L. Happy I had that profitable SPY trade. I think I needed that sometimes. Again, not massive profit, but it's about taking those reps, taking those sets, keep pushing every single day, being confident and being confident. Bongzillis is not a fan of IWM. Yeah, I guess everyone has their own different stocks. I find IWM to be a pretty good trading vehicle because there are levels it does. So that would be my look on that. But Apple, wow, Apple's still pushing higher here, even as we have that move back down. I'll be watching the SPY again for a 534 breakup if we get up there again, but, oh, yeah, Jim Cramer.
Oh, I haven't seen that in a hot minute. Neil's having a good time. That's all I can say, guys. Shout out to Neil. He's in a good mood, man.
Yeah, it's just been such a fun day. Also, sorry, before we go back to Sharif, I want to talk about... Shout out to Mr. Longshorts asking about my journal. So I have I do journal. I do a lot of reflection in my head as well. A lot of it is very much mental. I take screenshots, but also I have this document that I call tickers to look at.
Oh, love it.
On my Google. And I have levels I really like, and the ones I really like, they're highlighted in green, they're bolded, or they're just bolded in general, right? And then I have little notes, random songs in my head. This is from a couple days ago when I was I had Disney songs in my head, so I thought the world was telling me to trade Disney, which actually worked out.
You're superstitious like that, eh?
Well, okay, it's just because I told you there was a day I had Irreplaceable in my head, and then GME, that was the day that we found out Roy and Kitty invested in Chewy. And GME gapped down. So GME was replaced. So that's, anyways, really superstitious, but I do operate through music. I also have a lot of, I've got just rules before I get into scalp trades, any song quotes that are in my head or anything like that, my checklist for trading after one. And then in terms of reflecting on the trades, what I really want to do is did it make sense as a trade I should have taken? And also, why did it go wrong? Because those are the things I want to go, when it went well, it's why did it go right? And I find I'm often reflecting a lot on the profitable trades more than I am on the non-profitable ones, because I think a lot of times when you lose on trades, you know why you went wrong. You know there was something wrong you did, or it's just a simple case of what, like Neil says, the losing trades should be boring. A lot of my losing trades today were actually boring, just didn't work out. On to the next. But it's in the winning trades, it's how could you have done better? How could you have gotten more profit? How could you have taken more size? How could you have secured the bag a little bit more tightly, tighten that Louis purse or whatever? So to me, that's what I try to do here. I reflect, do some journaling on my phone, some journaling in that document, and always thinking about the market at all times. I hope that answers your question, but it's always a work in process.
I've got a question.
Yes.
Who's your favorite designer brand?
Oh, Gucci.
Gucci, right?
Gucci, without a doubt. I love Gucci. I used to love BCBG Max's Ria.
Okay. Why'd you switch?
Well, I don't even know if they make stuff anymore. Also, they had a lot of fun, colored stuff, and it's when you're older, you kind of want to, switch up the vibe. But I love Kate Spade. Kate Spade, I also 24. Like. That's true. You're right. I could still be vibing with BCBG.
Yeah.
I still have my BCBG purse somewhere. Are you? I know one designer brand you like. I know.
What?
Coach.
It's not designer.
I guess it's not like yeah.
It's just like my wear stuff to work.
Yeah.
But thank you. Yes, I do. I'm wearing my Coach shoes right now, babe.
Yeah, you're always rocking the matching Coach shoes. I like it.
Jay Lee, I still don't trust this rally. Using the highs to get a good entry for the shorts. Jay, I always respect what you have to say, my man. Let's have a look at what the future's looking at right now. You're not the only person who feels that way, mind you. So, and I happen to be in your camp. I don't think we necessarily tank and make newer lows, but I'm going to continue to pump my bias. And my bias is we whiffle, we waffle, we zig, and we zag until the market has some clarity. I'm talking about the election. And there's also the seasonality issue. Go back and have a look at what we did last year, the year before that, the year before that. I see 4 years of seasonality unabated. So that's just my opinion. I think we finally look, if the economy's not in a recession and everything is the status quo in terms of, nothing really coming in with the employment or with inflation that hurts us, I think we make all-time highs maybe in November or December. That's just my opinion. I hope nobody bases anything on it as an opinion and it's not financial advice. All right, Apple, high a day. Who else is at high a day right now? Tesla just printed high a day. So that 200 level on Tesla, we were looking at that as a possible area of resistance. Nuh-uh. It's continuing to go up. Goggles, it didn't give a you-know-what about the IB high, blew through that, but still south of that 162 that we closed out yesterday. There's also price action resistance in the aftermarket to support a 162 rejection. We're gonna have to see, number one, can Google make it up into 162? And if it does, is that as good as it gets for it on the day, down 0.43 right now? Apple continuing to hang out at highs. NVIDIA, it's been, I don't want to call it the monster dead weight, but yeah, it's taken a bit of a breather. When does this monster report, by the way?
August 28th.
Thank you, Adara. August 28th, that puts us obviously about 19 days until this monster report, so we'll keep eyes on that. Meta into the high a day as well. The monster Meta continuing to go. It is Meta and Apple are the two strongest names on the day right now. Meta just a slightly below Apple, but I got to tell you, the monster did well. The train here, the Zuck train.
I was gonna say, they're going to get jealous if you keep calling them all monsters, Sharif. Come on now. Come on now.
511.50 was the level that I was looking at and didn't have the, to get into this one today, but 517 generally looks like it's coming in. Somebody was asking me in the chat, they're like, yo, what's your resistance levels on Meta? And so I just, I might as well tell you this now since we're talking about it. We're in a bit of a chasm here. There's really nothing here to stop us unless we get into 525. If you're looking at the closing print or the wick here, what? Hey? Beyond Meat says Neil, BYND. Neil's yelling about BYND. Let's load it up over here quickly. Beyond Meat looks like, no, I'm not going to make that joke. All right, I'm staying quiet. BYND, here we go. Wowzers, what's going on here with Beyond Meat? Here, I'm looking. There's nothing. There's nothing coming in for Beyond Meat on my blotter, but this thing is flying, guys. It just got up from 620. It got to 809, zigging and zagging, up 20%. BYND, Beyond Meat. Okay, so yeah, you can't locate it fast enough. It started going, guys, exactly 11 minutes ago. So this is the first big boy move there with the big boy candle coming in at 128 is 139. So we've been pumping for about 11 minutes or so, finding resistance at $8.809 HOD. What is the look here? The 1 minute showing me the 10 exponential at 750. What is the 5 minute showing me? I probably should be trading this on the 1 right now because it's way too parabolic to trade off the 5. Yeah, 750, and I'm going long on this one, but let's see if this can even, number one, reject 8 right now. It's zigging and zagging. And number 2, does it hold up at the 10 exponential? I need proof. You're not going to see me punch into this willy-nilly, hoping that it holds up at the green 10 exponential line. Here we go. Second candle just open right into 8 again. So lots of zigging and zagging here, Adara. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I just took a brief little EWIM scalp there. Did not work out. I was trying to get above the 207 10s because we're kind of holding these areas. We got a little bit of that drop there. I had to get out around 207. So happy I tried it. Yeah, I did like the look. I like that look on EWIM. I did not love the entry point. I should have been a little bit closer to that 207.05, which is what I really wanted, which I feel like we're bouncing off of. I'm not going to get back involved in this, though. And what I'm still waiting for is if SPY gets to 534.50. I was in the long when it got there. We didn't get filled there, obviously, kind of wake back down. But I think if we break above that level, that is going to be pretty wild to watch. I do think we're getting a little bit of a move down in a lot of these markets, unless your name is Palantir. If your name is Palantir, you are swimming like a little Alex Carp there to the upside. You're like, bouncing off the 90 MA, talk about a bottoming tail candle here. Bullish as all heck at that $30.15 area. And I said earlier, I was like, oh, if we break below 30, I'll short this. Nope. Very happy I did not. That would have been a mistake if there ever was one there. Let's take a look at some wider time frames here. This 30-minute chart is one of the cleanest. Okay, you're going to push back Palantir. Look at this. Lower highs, or not lower highs, sorry, bottoming wick candle, bottoming tail candle, higher lows, even the red candles are all bottoming wick. Even this one, like back up here. This is a crazy great setup here in Palantir. I want to shout out Neil and Obi again for their longs on this guy earlier. Every time frame, I do like this Palantir, but I think if we don't break 30.25 at some point, that could be a little bit of an issue, perhaps, because we did get on this 10-minute, this bottoming, this topping tail candle here from 30.25. Also, I want to talk about Lily, because I always do. Someone in the chat, I think it was Vicky on Novak, saying, yeah, you had the right call in the Lily short. Sometimes you do, you just don't have the right timing, and you gotta go back. Oh my God.
Bro.
This flat bottom break on Lily is beautiful on VWAP. That's the thing for me to aggressively journal about and reflect on and be like, how could I have done this better? And the thing I could have done better was only trading Lily. Why was I looking at anything else? I had levels on Lily I liked. And I think, sometimes too, when you're on the show, we want to be interesting. We want to make sure we're trading, right? And again, there are no trades that I took today, to be clear, that I regret.
Seen this?
But these lower highs on Lily are like, wow, Adara, reflect, figure out what you did wrong, go back to the drawing board, and go even harder next time. So happy I tried it. Didn't work out, but where's the next trade? The next trade should have just still been on Lily, but bit of a move down here on these old markets. IWM coming back to that level I liked around 206.60, so I might take a very tight trade on that if there's anything interesting to be seen there. But whatever stock you're looking at, you guys only have 8 minutes left to vote. Exclamation point, join, space, $, whatever ticker you like. Whatever ticker it is, let us know in that there chat. Put it in. We want to be taking a look at what is happening here in this market for you guys. Make sure to like and make sure to subscribe. And you can't join the chat if you do not subscribe. How are you doing?
Adara, I don't know what the bad word is going on here, but this thing is absolutely flying, and I've got no reason why it's flying. I get why it's...
Did you hear what Fabian said?
No.
They just started selling meat. That was his joke. That's pretty funny.
So it's not beyond meat anymore. It's just meat.
It's meat beyond.
I love it. Here comes 9. There goes 9, Adara. This thing is absolutely flying. 9.10 the high. I need to apprise you guys on the short flow because I'm assuming this is why it's moving. Yeah, exactly. 40%, just south of 40%. Of the 61.75 million shares, it's going to halt. Here comes 913. It's up 40%. This is going to halt. Let's see if it's a false halt or not. Printed 12s on the bid. 12. There it is. So we're halted now. The tap is at 950. Say it again. I don't know, bro, what's happening. Neil doesn't understand what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. Tap is 950. We're going to look for a 5-minute halt initially. If we get the halt past the 5-minute mark, we'll be looking for 10. They come in typically increments of 5. Wow, what a move today on BYND. Oh, so much FOMO going through my blood right now. I mean, what do you do? What do you do? So tap 914. By the way, guys, let me take this opportunity to explain what I mean by tap. The tap means the theoretical auction price. And what ends up happening when a stock is halted for volatility, and it gets halted for volatility if it's up 10%, I think within 2 minutes, okay? Is it 2 minutes, Neil? 5 minutes, thank you. 10% within 5 minutes. Oh, they're perfect. They're different based on price? I didn't actually know that. There's price ranges. Okay, so maybe I'll stop talking about that then. Basically, the theoretical auction price is an auction system that starts happening while the stock is halted. So it's basically based on the buy and sell orders are coming in through market on open. So the only way for me to set up an order on this stock right now while it's halted is to use what we call an MOO, a market on open order. a moo. Yeah, a moo order. And essentially, when I submit that moo order, I actually said moo order. That market on open order, or the market on market on open order, which could be a buy or sell. It's then kind of compiled by the exchange, and they see which way the pendulum is swinging. Is it swinging in the favor of the buys or the ask? Hence the auction system, and that's why it's either above or below the halted price. The halted price is 912, as you can see, and the tap here, thank you, Fabian, for that, 912 zigzagging below 910 and 912. Sometimes we'll have the tap, theoretical auction price. Sometimes we won't. I used to think it had something to do. I think it's NYSE and NASDAQ. So BYND is a NASDAQ name, and typically we do get the tap on that. So we'll wait for this one to open up. Let me just tell you exactly when it shut. It shut at 13.4. Oops, here it is. I'll look at it on the time of sales. Pardon me. 13:43.50 something or another. So I just don't have the column there. There we go. 13:43.55. So essentially that was, let me look at my atomic clock over here on the side. It is 1:55. So we've been 3 minutes right now. So we have another possible 2 minutes. Yeah, oh, that's really cool, Fabian. Thank you for that. Another possible 2 minutes. Otherwise, they come in increments of 5. Look at this now. The tap was 890. Now it's down to 9. So it's looking like it might open down. We shall see. Let's leave this one for a bit and then look at the dead one over here. So the dead one finding support at a previous area of resistance, that 216.20. It tanks, comes off that 216 and a fifth or 4/5, comes back all the way down into 1/5, holds up at that level, and it looks like it will try to make another high. In case you're wondering, that was, do you have news on BYND?
No, there's just a lot of social media interest.
And what are they saying? Anything in?
No, they're just like excited about it.
Catman tweeting about it?
No, it's just like random people tweeting about it.
All right. Well, if it's not Catman, then I'm not excited.
Yeah.
All right. So.
Hashtag vegan, someone saying.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. According to Fabian, they may not be anymore. Shut up. All right, so that is the look right now. We'll wait until BYND opens up. We have another minute or so until that bad boy opens up. We did touch 18.
There's a lot of call auction activity, apparently.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people sharing the amount of call options on Beyond Me.
Yeah, we can load that up too.
Yeah, I can show, like, this is the thing that people post on Twitter. Yeah. This was 18 minutes ago. And from that tweet, apparently this thing has been up quite a bit. Also, yeah, I random plug while I'm here. I actually do have at TraderTV Adara, if you guys want to, Twitter, shut up. But also, shout out to all these calls there on this. That was the weirdest, the most shameful self-promo that has ever been given in the world. I don't know why I did that,
I disagree.
But go to Twitter. But yeah, so as you can tell here, Beyond Meat, like lots of calls. This was posted, and then as we have all of these calls posted, people keep reposting that, talking about all the strength we have in Beyond Meat. So the meatless one, the vegan one, higher there on that. Yeah. That's
all good there. All right, so Apple did give way to that 216.20 level. Now it's looking like a possible head and shoulders on the one. Again, these patterns are fractal, but the rate at which they fail goes up the lower down the time frame you go. So if I'm charting on the one, the failure rate is higher than it would be on the 5, than it would be on the 10, the 15. You guys get it. So let's see if 216, number one, holds up. If it doesn't, that would be a neckline break, because we definitely had support at 216 over here. So let's watch to see, do we get support at 216 or do we move back down? The future trying to hold the 10 exponential on the 5 at the moment. Not that I typically use these moving averages with the futures contract, but I'm watching Apple here. Very interesting level, 216.78 HOD, but the market, or the Mag 7, I should say, taking a bit of a move down at the moment, keeping an eye on BYD. It's open. There we go. We're zigging and zagging. So we got up into that 9.25, but that was as good as we can do for now. Here we go. So we down. Where's the low there? 850. 850 defend. 8.75 right now. So in between that 9, that 8.5. Looks like we're on our way to 9 again. Let's see if we can get that touch through 9. Still, nothing on my blotter explaining what is going on here with BYND. Adara astutely pointing out the options volume on this is above average at the moment. People tweeting up a storm about this name.
So much Twitter.
So we'll keep an eye on BYND. But again, nothing to account for this move up. They did report earnings and, they did report earnings, and obviously revenue beat expectations, EPS lags. Not surprised there. It's been a hot minute since this company was hot. Hot minute since it was hot. Anyway, breaking down now, they're below that 850. Let's see if it can find support at $8. That was the initial area where it was zigging and zagging. Big move down off that 9.25, about $1 now low off the highs on BYND. Still up almost 30%, but that 8 coming in hot. We're at 8.25 now, 8 1/5. So yeah, a lot of selling as BYND gives up some of this unexplained, I guess, appreciation here, Darren. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. What program are they using for trading? We use a proprietary software by the company called Pre-Pro 8. It is exclusive to Real Trading, which is the prop firm we work at here. It is an international firm. Sadly, no business done in the States, but they do business essentially everywhere else. So if you're not in the United States, search up to see if you can get into a trading floor. We have ones in Barcelona. We have them everywhere. We also have, for Canadians, we have the Real Campus program, but you got to be Canadian for that, where you can join our firm virtually from your home. More details on that. So shout out to you. Thank you for asking that, though, Marcin. I hope I didn't butcher your name there, by the way. What are you looking at there?
Yeah, so I have a lot of conflicted feelings about my trading today. I did just get shut down on this by a hair, and I want to talk about it because I'm happy I took this trade. I stand by the impetus of this trade, and I'm really conflicted, like I said, because there are no trades that I took today that were like either A, like actively like, what are you doing, girl? Or B, like I had levels on everything. I traded everything appropriately. Sometimes things just don't work. You have to take a step back, step away from the wheel. Should have done that. That being said, happy I tried this scalp because I had levels on it. My entry point here was really gross, though. So that 533, and I switched to the 1 minute just to show you guys. I don't trade off the 1 minute generally, but I wanted to show you guys why I like that 533.30 level. Look at how long we tried to break above this. If we go back to like heading into 130, right? Like wick into 533, wick into 533. It was crazy watching the book as we got that breakout. I was watching the book as we got that breakout. When we finally break above it, it's crazy, right? Then we get that whole quadrunk in the market. Look where we pause. That's kind of funny, right? 533.30. I was like, oh my gosh, this is clearly a level. I watched it last time. You got to go for this, Adara. You're going to regret not going for this. I got involved. I wouldn't say chase because I wanted to wait for that. Okay, maybe I wouldn't say chase. I want to see what we did at 533.50s. We got there. We held it decently. I risked like 10 pennies, had to get out. So disappointed, obviously, in myself. You always want to do better. This is not something I'm proud of doing. But I'm really ready to reflect, to learn, and to not repeat this. And the thing is, I still stand by this level in the SPY, and I switched to the 1 minute just to show how clear this 533.30s was. And when I saw it flipping to support of the book, I was like, okay, to me that was significant. Did not play it appropriately. And ironically, this trade is the one that I'm least proud of how I played all day because I don't like the level at which I got in. But I like, you know what I mean? I like being, we're all about honesty here, honesty, whatever. And so I wanted to be honest about that. So no more trading for me today, but you do miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Happy I took the shot, should have taken it in a more effective way. And that is the whole point on there. To New York Cent saying, is Tesla building support around 200? We just went below 200 because you guys know I have the Tesla book up at all times. Should a scalp opportunity arise on Tesla? We just got a big move down here in these here markets. So let's see what we do here on TSLA.
18.6.
18.6. Wow.
We're coming down to 18.6, Obi. We cleared 18.6. You've been gone a little bit.
Obi's so excited about the short opportunities.
Obi,
Man is like
Obi.
salivating at the short opportunities here. There's 200. Okay, microphone. To talk about that Tesla 200, look at that move up above here. I think there was clear resistance. The fact that the resistance didn't hold the support here beyond that brief wick, I gotta say, I wish I could tell you it's holding support at 200. I really don't think that's the case. And I think it looks, honestly, a little bit bearish when you go on a wider time frame. Look at the 10-minute, right? We wick into the 200, break lower. We do have higher lows, but then we break down that 200 pretty violently. I would see it with 200 if we retest again. If we retest it, break below, I would actually say 200 could have formed here back to resistance. But I think, to me, it looks like pretty clear resistance on the 10-minute time frame. That is my take on this. Yeah, what an interesting day it's been in these markets. I'm very excited to reflect on my performance. I know you have plans for the weekend though, so I'm sure you're very pleased as punch to get those started at that music fest.
Yes. So tomorrow we're gonna do a quick beach sesh before we head up there. So we're gonna just do a quick run. We're gonna hit that earlier, hopefully like 8:30, so we can make our way up there a little bit earlier. We've got a buddy's camper near there. So that's cool in Oro Medonte, and then we're gonna stay up at my sister's place in Wasaga, which is not too far away from there. So super excited for this. I mean, I haven't been to a festival in a hot minute,
really?
let alone a country festival. Yeah. Like the last festival I think I went to was Veld, which was a while ago. So that's the plans, and then obviously you know how Sunday is. It's for mommy and daddy. I go up into Markham and shout out Patty Ice. We're gonna hang out with the mom and pop Dukes, and that's really basically that's it, Adara. How about yourself? Writing up a storm or what's going on?
Yeah, I would definitely want to do some writing. I have some ideas for some things that I want to hammer.
Can we ask?
Yeah, I'm working on.
I just asked anyway, so I hope I don't play on.
No, I'm working on. I had this pilot that I wrote a while ago when I was in school, and it was kind of based on Winnipeg. So I had some ideas for that. I'm going to see if I can dust the dust off that and revisit that. Also sleeping and also some hard journaling because I want to reflect. I feel like there was some. I had my best days going live this week, and I also just got shut down today. So that's a little. I don't love all of the hot and coldness. I would like the trading to be more consistent. So I'm going to do some reflecting.
Feel you.
And also knowing me, some sleeping, preferably not on my kitchen floor. So good times there. Also shout out to you too, New York Senate, who was asking about Tesla 200, saying you were shorting it. It is. I think we're getting kind of close to that 200 now. I'd be very cautious to see what we do here. But it does look generally like we're rejecting that area. So best of luck to you in that trade. Best of luck to everybody. I hope you guys have been printing so much here. So I think, oh yeah, good times.
All right, guys. Sorry, just got to interrupt you there. I got to make my way up the big screen, and I will see everybody on Monday. I hope everybody had a fantastic day, and I hope everybody stays safe on the weekend and have a good weekend, everybody. See ya.
Yeah, see you. Thank you so much, Sharif. Enjoy your festival. Hopefully you guys have a great old time there. Yeehaw. Hats off to you also for your cowboy hats off for your trading today. You killed it there with that Apple. Awesome look there. Appreciate you as well. You can still use TMS to trade, says Ari Pages. That is true, but I only trade when I'm on the midday, right? So that is why I've kind of stepped back. Also, one thing I'm trying to work on as well is just not trading while tired. I was pretty tired all day today, so I should have taken. Ironically, actually, too, I find the days I get shut down are usually the days I take the least amount of fills, which is really interesting. So I think it's the days I'm scalping less. That's something for me to journal about and learn about. But I think this is an interesting look. Shout out to Stacks in the chat saying that there is some kind of potential chatter about some ongoing geopolitical conflicts here in Israel, so the markets could get shaky. Thank you for letting us know about that. So really appreciate potentially mentioning that. You know, you guys know we don't get into politics, but if it can potentially impact the market, that's definitely worth noting. So shout out to you, Stacks, for letting us know. Hopefully things are safe for everybody here, because we have an international community, and hopefully the world will. Good times. To New York Sense saying, let's go, good day, we'll keep shorting Tesla. Yeah, I think definitely shout out to you. One level I just noticed though in Tesla might be 199s. I know it's not like the fancy 200 level, but that was a pretty clear resistance level, and from which we then made a higher low, higher high. So I would maybe watch out for 199s more so than the 200s, although 200 also some, in my opinion, some resistance here. So good look on that. What's everybody else looking? MGO halted, says Gurjeet. So let's take a look at M to the G to the O to the L. Bit of a move down there in these markets. So, wow. Okay, nice little push lower here for some of these markets. MGOL halted here, 77.84. This is actually an interesting level here, that $6 level. We kind of had that move down, tried to push higher, had a breakout, but given that it is a small cap, it broke out with a little bit of violent here. Adara has 1 more minute, says Rivian Millionaire. Yeah, we're almost done here. Hope you guys had as much fun as we did. You know, shut down, but not shut out, ready to take on these markets another day. And again, shout out to all the support in this community. It sounds like a lot of people had a bit of a different week, and I think it's one week that will certainly be worth journaling about aggressively. But yes, so we will thank you to you, Bears vs. Bulls. You're killing it every single day as well. Also, Bears vs. Bulls wishing Sharif a happy music fest. So shout out to you guys. But we'll see you guys next week, same bat time and same bat channel. We do, though, have Obi and Neil on that big desk and with Sharif at the green screen. See you guys.
Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, everyone, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. As Adara mentioned,